Welcome, guys, to the new segment where you choose what we talk about. You had your say today from 1 to 150. Now we're going to talk about the market. So essentially what we're looking at here is a big down move in the market to start the afternoon. A lot of negativity surrounding what could come from the Fed minutes being dropped at 2:30. So keep your eye on that. We're still continuing to make lows on the Qs as we sell off into the afternoon, guys. Bit of a tougher look here. We'll have to wait and see whether Nvidia can help propel the market back up here, as the market was consolidative almost all afternoon until about half past the hour, and then it really came down. So we'll keep eyes on that. Neil, what does it look here on the Qs?
Yeah, starting out here, just Fed minutes did come through, so many uncertain about the degree of restrictiveness. Various participants are willing to tighten more if needed. Participants in the meeting stressed it would take longer than previously anticipated to gain greater confidence in inflation moving substantially to 2%. You got a bit of a push down on those meeting minutes, but the market was already reversing, exemplified by Nvidia already this morning. So you know earnings are coming up after the bell. We did a great video, had a good opportunity to talk with Sean about what we expect for Nvidia and how they need to beat those expectations if we're going to get a move to the upside. But let's be real. It was long early, it stunk, it's my worst stock of the day, down because of Nvidia, but the stair step that we're now seeing, partly due to maybe some profit taking, certainly some pressure on the markets. You had the CEO of Goldman Sachs come out and talk about less likelihood of rate hikes going on this year. On top of that, you had a bond auction, and now we just had the Fed minutes. So you're underneath VWAP, down 1.7%. What's interesting is I was looking for an afternoon hold of VWAP because this was higher lows to look back long where I wanted it this morning. That's clearly not happening at this moment. If anything, we're now consolidating underneath the morning bottom, underneath 940. And it's a weird number, but $922 has been a bit of a support level. 920 to 922 has been a support level after it was resistance. It would not be crazy if we saw that, if we continue the trend down. The only trade that I'm into the south side that cares about the market is AMD, which I suppose that's adjacent to Nvidia, but the story here is selling on Nvidia going into the earnings print after market, aided by this move down on Fed minutes here.
Okay, so I was going to say, hey, welcome back, everybody. I just sat back down right now. We just saw that Nvidia broke. So, okay, we went some longs. We talked about that. Again, should have got out there at 52. Bought some dips here and actually was okay buying dips. At the end of the day, obviously, Nvidia breaks lower here, and there it goes. So we were getting a little greedy waiting for that top take. But again, early on, didn't think Nvidia would be down that 2% into earnings. And it's a good thing we got out at that 930. Remember I was saying 938 break? It looks like we got actually, did we get above 938 as an out there? We got, for some reason, my out is 938.09. I don't know why that is, but we wanted to get out on a 938 break, and that's exactly what happened. So we just started averaging in right now at 940. We actually, here, maybe if I zoom in, forget about what we did earlier. We sort of talked about that. We have some outs here. This was working until it didn't. So I don't feel bad at all about what we just did. I feel like we might have even made money, but at the end of the day, early we were wrong on Nvidia, and just being, it wasn't even being stubborn. It was just caught long the wrong way. And I have an interesting story about Shopify, because Shopify is supposed to be long, but my trigger stop hit below, so I did give some back by accident there on Shopify. We'll get to that. Are we doing the rundown? No, we're not doing the rundown, but that is what it is for now. So Nvidia is tonight, though.
That's right, Sean. All eyes will be on Nvidia tonight. The monster, the AI monster, reports earnings after the bell. Make sure to catch that with Sean and Adara on the Market Recap Show. I was reading a really interesting tidbit today. It looks as if institutional investors are still buying up this monster. It's retail here that saw net outflows outside of their accounts. So they're a little bit suspicious. That makes you wonder a little bit. Yeah. So we're going to have to wait and see how big the beat or miss is. That'll have a lot to do with whether or not it stays within that 8.8% that it's projected plus or minus to go up, guys. So I know Sean covered his trade on Nvidia. Neil, did you have a look at this one today?
Well, I kind of just went over it. It was a failed. No, it's all good. Like, it was a failed long. I actually think now at this point Now, we'll just go over it again. Like you're consolidating, I just got out of AMD, but that's the number 2 symbol that people wanted to talk about, so we'll get to that in a second. Now you're consolidating underneath the morning support level, which was $940. Unless it can break that, I think you have a chance. I think you have a chance to retest $922 just to go over it again. And then if we break higher, I think VWAP and 950 comes into play. And there was for good reason, this was the lesson of the day. And one of the things I mentioned here was if you're taking multiple shots at key dip prices, don't blend one into another. That's what I did today. Instead of just only focusing on the key stops, 50, the pre-market low, previous closes kinds of things, I did not adhere to its going from green to red, which was at 953. That was right in here. I held one into the other instead of stopping that out and taking a new trade. You never want to have that happen to you. But Nvidia is going to be, whether you trade it or not today, it's going to be the stock that's leading the market for the rest of this day, certainly for tomorrow, for the rest of this week, depending on how good or bad it is for the rest of this month. It's going to be wild. Expect vast amounts of liquidity at each one of these key price levels. I think you're going to have to hold things. If you're trading it, you got to hold past the obvious stop levels the way it's moving around. So just give it a little bit of extra breath.
Back to 940. It just ripped up $7.
That's what I'm saying. Like you just give it a little bit of extra breath today. I don't think you're trading it unless you do that. Let's go back to Sharif.
Big mover today, Barnes & Noble, BNED, what a move up, over 100%, triple-digit territory. On the news that Greenhaven is continuing to explore the possibility of a transaction with the company. Bookstores have been hurt as of late because of online sales, but a great move up, kind of off highs here. Did you guys have a look at Barnes & Noble today?
A lot. I would say two trades that shouldn't have happened, and then the rest I have no issues with. I'll get right to the 2 trades that shouldn't have happened. That is this long right at the open.
What's Nvidia doing?
Off of this. Look, I was trading off the $1 level, and then for some reason decided I wanted to trade a 92-cent long. Like, what am I even doing with that trade? Trade was off of $1, and then the other trade that shouldn't have happened, I shorted the dollar here, was this reload short underneath the dollar. And then everything else, exactly the plan. I wanted to be playing the longs off $1. We had one early, scalped it, took a small hit. Then it halted up, missed this trade on the reopen, got it back in long 102 off of 1. That was probably the best, and it got up to 130 or so. VWAP dip didn't hold out, but that was a tight stop. And then we got back into some longs. It was looking really good over VWAP in there, maybe a little aggressive. Then back under $1, we got out. Bit of a tighter stop the second time through. And this is the one that I'm still sitting in, which was some of the shares actually at 99, then the rest of them at a 101. This is working into the 120. As long as it hold on to $1, we're holding this into the high of the day. It's a squeeze play. Obviously, everybody can see that. But above this dollar, this was a big bag holding level. This is not a day 1 or 2 play. This has been going for at least half a week here. And if it does hold out to this $1 level, there is lots more room to run in Barnes & Noble. I'm not going to make any comment about this in the long term or any potential turnaround. You cross that bridge when you actually start having multiple earnings reports that were good, which it's not crazy. I mean, if you look at what happened with Carvana, I mean, it's not like the stock was insane. People were calling it going under. It was like a $1 price target by Morgan Stanley. I think it was Morgan Stanley, right? For Carvana, they had one good report followed by another. Stock's at $100 and whatever dollars it is right now. I'm not saying that happens to BNED. Right now, it's just a small squeeze play and back above $1, looking pretty solid.
I actually didn't even realize that was Barnes & Noble. So hey, I'm Sean. What's up? Yeah, I didn't look at it today. I mean, we've had a bunch of different squeeze names going through the last couple of days. All I can show to you is, Faraday Future. We talked about that. Actually, that's trying to hold $1. And I'm only bringing this up just to show this. Like, what goes up sometimes can come down. And not sometimes, but all the time. So right into here, trying to hold $1. And I just look, when you're looking at a stock like that, BNED.
Chart of the day.
I mean, yeah, the problem is when you're looking at our charts, again, we don't show all the splits and everything, so it's pretty tough. So I have to look back to see if there are any splits happening. But right there, this is already what this looks like. So nice move to the upside. I still think there's more room to go. I mean, I think you could take out highs, right? So when you're looking at that, something to look at, $2, probably a top. Looking pretty good. Nice base down here. Was this reverse split? I don't even know. But 17 cents all the way up to $1. I just say we learn from our past mistakes. If you get a big winner on some of these names, it may be worth taking. And by the way, here we go. I don't even know what to push. Fruit salad. Hey, everyone likes fruit salad? No. Okay, so I'm into the short now. So I was pumping the brakes on the long the whole day, not pumping the brakes, pretty much accelerating the gas, and then the brakes got pumped on me. But we're going to try with the 50 period. We've sort of made it all the way down here. It was holding. We basically broke the 50 period rate there back at $12.50. That was $950. Since then, we haven't broken it, so now we're short this name. We're not going to take this one to the grave, that's for sure. We're short right now at $942, completely comfortable amount of shares. I'm going to try to get this thing out if it breaks through $944. So just a quick little hitter here. If we're lucky enough to get some more short at I'm at $943.50. How is that even possible? So it basically comes up to us and leaves. Here we go. There we go. Now we're ramped up. $1 more and we're out of this trade. Maybe $945 break higher and we're gone. But we're going to try the short in Nvidia. I mean, I hate to lose on the long and the short, but that might be what happens right here. Short right now, $942.75.
AMD, no specific catalyst for this one, but widely anticipated here that it would be moving in sympathy with Nvidia. So Advanced Micro Devices has their GPU, the MI300X. We saw a little bit coming out of Amazon and Meta that they're looking to also ramp up and buy their GPU. So a lot of the demand is really going to be gauged by how much Nvidia is selling. So AMD tried to break through 170 today, but as you can see, like with the overall market, it continued to sell off. Guys, did you have a look at AMD?
Well, AMD was a short for me today.
Coffee, I left it.
But yeah, go ahead, grab that coffee, man. It's afternoon time. Oh, by the way, if you wonder, like Sean wasn't at his seat and left his coffee over there. Why? Because, well, I can spoil it. Yeah, they were taping the pod. Freedom and Wealth podcast, man. So it's going to be coming out. I think it's going to be fantastic. New format. Got to check out the room myself there, so we'll let him come back. And like I said on AMD, it was frustrating for me. Obviously, if you have an idea to go short off the highs and it breaks out said highs and you don't get back in, it kind of stunk. I even had a long off VWAP, which didn't work out. I jumped back into the short where it was available. We had just gotten out of that at yesterday when it got back above yesterday's close. I'm trying to short it back into 166, but we're short 166 and a quarter, down into 164.80. Might have to look for lower highs, but I've liked the short on the AMD all morning into the afternoon, and I don't see any reason to get away from that. I'm looking to short pops back into VWAP on.
Oh my God, finally. Doesn't matter what the segment is, I can't stop talking about it and stop trading. Look at that. Yes, we finally went over to the short. Have the damn ability as a trader to change your opinion of a name and start to follow some rules. I mean, this is only a profitable trade because we got short there at 943.50, which is right where that 50-period moving average is. So instead of holding out for a $10 winner, let's just scalp half of it out right now. Some out at 42, some out at 41. So those are pretty much the exact prices we just took there. Could still stop us out, but we're pretty smart this time around. All right, quickly on AMD. I mean, I love the name. I mean, I think this is a great name to trade. I think this is actually a better trading vehicle than Nvidia. And the reason why is you don't get punched in the face as easily on this name. Levels, you won't just fall down $1. Obviously, it's a $900 name versus a $165. But they'll pretty much trade in unison a lot of the time. If AMD has a problem, Nvidia probably does, and vice versa. So tonight with earnings is going to be a big play. Looking at this, I've liked the long since we've been above 150. I mean, we waited for that day to happen, and we've been hitting that long, and now it's long. But look what we just ran into, 170. AMD is down from its highs, 220, all the way down to 140 at one point. You lost 35% in this name real quick, and that was real quick. You're talking about March 8th to April 25th. So you're talking like 30, 35 trading days. You lost 35%. So let's not kid ourselves here. AI revolution or not, AMD and Nvidia still remain awesome opportunities to trade, and I think it's something that you have to look at every single day. I don't have a trade on it today. I chose pain with Nvidia, and pain it was. So for me, we'll maybe look at AMD tomorrow, but I love the trade, though. I love the name.
Only because you said it. I didn't realize this was true. In about 35 days, 35% down, you know what they do say?
Is that right? I just made that up.
Well, whether you made it up or not, we're going to go with it. A percent a day keeps the bulls away.
Downside.
Well, yeah. Well, you said down. It works.
Yeah.
You guys know it works. Just ignore my delivery and go back
That was
to
a good
trade.
one. That was a good delivery.
Last on the list is Tesla. A bit of a tougher day today. Not a good look. European registrations coming in below expectations or lower than the previous quarter, and that sent Tesla down into the right. Broke 180. I was watching this on the 5-minute chart. It really was holding the 20 period quite well on the 5-minute chart. You could have had a short in and around there. I didn't trade it, but yeah, that 180 level, very interesting. And after yesterday, too, when we heard Pepsi was really buying more of the semis than anticipated, today giving back some of those gains, though. What was the look on Tesla, guys?
So I broke a rule on Tesla long at 180, and I'll get to that in a quick second. But on the overall look that we had in Tesla, just looking at the daily chart, right? Like it's made that bottom. The trend has been down. Whether or not it's broken the trend, I would argue that the bigger long-term trend hasn't been broken. The higher lows haven't even been tested. It has to get above 200 to do that. But holding the 50 has been a pretty important point here. So higher lows after earnings, holding the 50 period. It looks on that time frame bullish as long as we hold on to the 170 level. So I think that's a good sign for them. Now, obviously, you're going to want to string together good news and all that. And it's after yesterday, that big rally, it has been a dumpster fire. Now, the rule that I broke was getting the long bounce off 180. So this is a I liked 180 today. So this is a consolidation throughout lunch. It then dips under this 180.40, which was a consolidation bottom. Gets close enough to 180 that I'll put the long on. And then I tell myself, but Neil, it's not 180. And I just get out of it for a small win, which was a mistake because then that was the bounce into 181. Like that was the 180 bounce. Then on momentum down after it's holding 181, then I'm like, oh, well, now it's at 180. Let's get into it here at 180. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Sometimes it'll bounce off of the level, and it doesn't bounce at $180.01. It bounces at $180.27 or whatever it might be. That was the trade. It was the first test of that low. I should have just taken it. I should have actually, instead of holding on for 20 cents, just held it for the dollar. You get what you get, and when it comes back in, you don't need to have that trade. Because I could be one and done and just be up on Tesla. It wouldn't have been as big of a trade as I'd like, but there's no need to get into that trade the second time through. And if anything, when it fails, a short at 180 would make sense. Overall in the daily chart, it still looks pretty solid if it can hold on to that 50-period moving average. But the enthusiasm of yesterday just went out the window, and it's not helped by the pressure we've had this afternoon coming from just now the Fed and the meeting minutes, Goldman Sachs CEO as well, and then there was also a bond auction. If anything, the bond auction moved us the least. If you're looking at the catalyst this afternoon.
Update on the Nvidia trade. That would be $1. That would be $2. That would be $3. That would be $4. $4 in the money right now on this Nvidia trade. Well, it just went back up $3 now in the money, short 9. So look, I was nervous there. I just took another piece out at the 50 period. I was like, why are we holding that 50 period moving average? And we didn't at all. Get down, man. I apologize. I was going to talk about Tesla, but so let's do that. So what I wanted to show you guys just real quick. I'm bidding right now 937 on Nvidia, by the way. Here's Tesla right here, 186. Look, we saw it yesterday, man. We saw the danger here. We knew that there was going to be a danger short because we moved 6.5% yesterday. Okay, but danger is my middle name. Bad numbers out of Europe, we'll take it short. But the thing is, it didn't hit any of the levels. That's still Nvidia. I don't even have any Tesla trades. It didn't hit any levels today for me. So it's a stay away. But at the end of the day, man, were we right about that short. It's just perfect. So this is why I'm really feeling ways right now. This is now $5 in the money on Nvidia. have the ability to, I don't know what your lesson of the day was, but this is my lesson of the day every single day. Have confidence in yourself, have the ability to read the charts, put the numbers up, ring the Reggie, and that's the end of that. So I don't know where the stock's gonna go. But it just dropped into there to 938. I was bidding 937. We might have missed that opportunity, but we're pretty happy about it anyways. Nice move to the downside there. Let's just cash out. There it is, Neil. That's a face slapper for your boy right there. As nice move on Nvidia. We put that on the board right there. Just made back a decent amount on Nvidia. Yes, sir. So there it goes. Nice move back down to the downside. And by the way, Tesla, I like the stock.
We're done. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about, we saw how fast that goes. Like when you're going with the trend, you get in, it just drops. Or it runs to the upside. We've seen this before. So when you say you've got to switch it up.
No, I love it.
When you say you've got to switch it up, that's the reality of it. Be willing to join the trend wherever it happens to be. I don't care, whatever your bias is on the stock, it's okay to have it pre-market. It's okay to have it at the open. But if at 2 o'clock, or in this case, like in the afternoon or power hour, it's showing you something vastly different, at that point, you just can't have that same bias if it's showing you the other direction. I think that goes too well. It doesn't get said enough. You can say it every single day to stick with it. Just a couple of things here. We haven't, look, I know we just did that. Usually we'll talk about some of the big cap tech names altogether. But we didn't really go over them because we're giving you guys the stock that you want, and I love that segment. Apple just went to 1% to the down. Whoa, that's a bad wick. Sorry about the daily chart. Apple about to test the $190 level. It is absolutely flushing all over the place in the market. I got to get over to AMD. I was about to talk about Apple and Meta and all that good stuff, but I just tried to get a curl in AMD off a lower high. Like, I'm just looking to get back into the short that we just took out, and we're still punching into the bottom. Now, I'm long a couple of things, but neither one of these things care at all about what the market is doing. Remember we said I am going to be long in GameStop going into the afternoon because of what's happening. GameStop's breaking through VWAP. What did it do the last 2 days in a row? It bounces in the afternoon and runs up to 23. It bounces in the afternoon and runs up to 22.80. Again, it bounces in the afternoon. Now it's running up to 22. So I said I would be long 21 if it came back above. We're long at 21.06. It just tagged 21.60. I'm offering in front of 22 bucks. I think each time it does it, there's going to be more people involved. I'm just looking to see if we can take 70, 80 pennies on the lasses. If it bounces off VWAP, great. BNED's holding up at 110. I've taken a bunch of that one out. I think if I'm long stocks in the afternoon, it's going to be small cap and runners. Nothing big cap tech.
Yeah, we're all about big cap tech right now, and this is $8 now, as we were just talking about it there, in the money now for Nvidia. It just touched again its day low at 934. Oh, man. Good opportunities here, man. 50-period moving average. I like it. I like it a lot right now today. So that's really working out for us. All right, so we did buy some more Amazon. I mean, we wrote down Amazon down here at 182 was a level that we like. So when it comes to 182, guess what we're doing? We buying. Nice little move up to the upside. Let's start getting some of this out now as we go. We already talked about this. PL1 on the show is going to be Shopify. PL2 is going to be Amazon. And then Nvidia is a nightmare, as we talked about that earlier on there today. But finally starting to make some back on that name. Amazon, just buy those dips. I mean, we had that trade early. We talked about that. We didn't get out at the very high there. I don't know if you guys were able to take that at 185 or not. Should have done that. But then again, weren't here literally all afternoon. I wasn't here. I left this position probably about 11:20, went to go see my parents, had lunch with them, filmed the podcast. As we said, no rest for the wicked. Now we get back up to the upside in Amazon, and we come back and we notice it's at 182. So we start to buy those dips, and now it's starting to pay off. And again, why would we ever buy Amazon long, Neil, at 182? I mean, maybe it's, oh yeah, it's right here. Here's the sticky note, 182. So we had that come through, so now it's 50 cents in the money. The low of the day on Amazon is let me see where we can zoom in here. Remember, sometimes we get the low wicks and sometimes we don't. Right there, low of the day on Amazon, 182.08. So we nailed that one, and now we're making some cashola. Amazon's probably going to overtake here. We'll see where I get out or not. But Amazon probably overtakes here Shopify for number 2 today, or for number 1. But right now it's Amazon starting to go back up to the upside. I know you have a big banger there on GameStop. So here, let's wait to see what did GameStop. Don't tell me that went to $20.
No, not today. Not
okay,
today.
there it goes, man. Here we go. We are just slowly killing him softly with Amazon right now. Shout out to the Fujis and everybody, and Lauryn Hill, who I saw in concert. He's absolutely fantastic. But here we go. This is before the days. All right, here we go. 182.59, starting to go back up to the upside. It's another one. We only have a $7 winner on right now and a 50-cent winner. So pick your poison.
Yeah, speaking of poison, I'm gonna not make the same mistake in GameStop as yesterday, because there was like 2 tranches. Yeah, I can use that word. That kind of works. To the upside. The first one pulled back heavily into the same break level yesterday and then regained. So the first move, if it gets back up, I'm actually going to trail this now underneath 50. I'm going to trail this to 50, take the $0.50 on it, and if we pull back in, just be ready to reload it if we make a new low. It was, like, I don't want to call it dirty, but it was kind of dirty what it did in the afternoon. And you wanted the opportunity to take the one trade off VWAP, let it make another bottom, and then instead of scalping like I did here, hold the second one through. So there was a late buyer on the stock, so I just got out in front of the high to change the plan. I know I said I was going to hold for 22, but I'm just thinking maybe we do the same pattern with a smaller move. So I'm back out on the bid in front of VWAP. If we get it, we get it. You got to trade the levels and the patterns. I mean, you like the AMZN. I don't know why I keep... It's a
Love
habit.
Amazon.
It's a habit, but Amazon.
Yeah.
Some things are not easier when you use the stock symbol. BNED, fine. But when it's Amazon, you just say Amazon. So I love Amazon as well, but you wait for the price level. For GameStop, I waited for it to make a bottom and then the higher lows. Now it's about pulling back into that $21 level. I'll hang on to BNED. Naresh, is ARM a better shadow play for Nvidia earnings? Well, I mean, better shadow play than, because you're not talking about in trading Nvidia. If it's like a shadow play, you're thinking of like comparison to what? Like maybe in comparison to AMD? I don't know that that's true. AMD is kind of like the easy, is like the easy one, or SMH or something like that. I don't know that I'd put ARM in the category of a better shadow play.
Yeah, I wouldn't shadow. I wouldn't shadow Nvidia.
If Nvidia is Nvidia, it's going to do its own thing. Obviously, ARM is going to be under pressure if Nvidia tanks, but that would probably go for every single chip.
So I just have to say something right now. This is the problem when you're in trades, and it's like I look over right now, and like this current Nvidia position is more P&L than the highest P&L right now on the floor, period. This current position. So this is part of the problem, is I've already gotten hit on Nvidia. I'm not even gonna be green on this name today, okay? But like sometimes you get these extended moves and you just wonder, like, should we just be taking this? You know? So again, we go back and forth about trading your plan, not necessarily the P&L, right? But then as I said, that's easy to say when you don't really care about your P&L. I really think that in order to be a successful trader, you have to be realistic and you have to say, okay, right now I'm sitting in this trade and it's a doozy of a trade. Even though I think it could go lower, there are times when you look over and go, holy crap, Neil, this is a $10 winner. And you got to say, I've read it perfectly right. 50 period, downside, $10 in the money. You know? So like this $10 in the money position could be the same size as somebody has 50 cents in the money, 30 cents, 10 cents. But you have to kind of judge it and you have to figure out where are you with this trade and what kind of a move potentially were you expecting. We just got a pretty decent flush right there. And now I'm thinking to myself, do I want to let this money just evaporate back all the way back up to the upside or actually take profit and let the rest run? So why gray hairs, less hair, this and that all the time? It's because as a trader, no matter what segment we're doing, all this kind of stuff, I'm always focused right here, right now. The trades that we currently have on, and that's a problem because my mind goes everywhere and I think about so many things all of the time. So even right now, as we entertain and put these trades on, this is real money, trying to show you guys what's capable and what's not. So I give a big shout out to everybody that believes in me because it takes a lot to do that. And I'm glad that everyone's found this station. And I'm glad that people have sort of helped create their own wealth and stuff like that from stuff that we're doing here on the show. So if I don't talk a little bit more cautiously sometimes, I don't need people thinking that YOLOing everything, oh, this guy's hitting a $10 club. Not everybody has $10 winners. And it's hard to get that. Not everyone has $10 losers. And it's hard to get that as well. but just showing you that this is what can happen as a trader. So again, understand your strengths and weaknesses and trade them accordingly. But we on one right now, and so is Nvidia, $8 plus in the money. Our Amazon's come back a little bit, but we sort of emptied the clip up there. Like when we got to the 50-period moving average, and again, you trade small shares, hold this all the way up, whatever you want to do, whatever your plan is. But when you start to see, and again, we can say whatever, but when you start to see those things lighting up, you know, there is a point where we've all done it, and if you're a real trader, for sure you've done it. You know, wow, that's a great loss, or that's a great win, and you take it, and then you look back and you say, what have I done? You know, why didn't I just hold more of that? So these are the decisions that a trader has to go through every single day. And then as you increase your share sizes, again, I'm just talking real trading. As you increase your share sizes, your P&L becomes definitely something that you look at. And I think it's appropriate to do that because you have to judge where you are sort of on your day and what this trade means to you. Because if you're in the money $1,000 and you're down $3,000 on the day, this is an opportunity to get some of that back. Whether or not it goes all the way down, imagine letting it evaporate. There was a guy there who had a bet where he had a $100 bet and it could have paid $1.87 million.
Yes.
He had the Chiefs. He had, it was just last week. He had the Chiefs. He had, I guess he had the World Series champs. I don't even know who they were. He had the Las Vegas Knights. And then he also had OKC. And if all of them won, he was getting paid $1.8 million or something like that on a $100 bet, okay? He showed it online. He could have cashed out, I think it was game 2 of OKC. He could have cashed out for... No, he didn't hold it to game 7. He could have cashed out for $100 and something thousand. Then all of a sudden, he was letting it ride. OKC went down 2-1 or something like that, or 2-2 in the series. The payday was $80,000. He pushed cash out. All right? That bet is worth 0 right now. OKC's gone. Well, so right there, you know, although you might have the bet in your hand, if OKC loses, you don't get anything. With that ilk, I'm going to put a bid right here, right now. If we can get a fill right now, I see what this would do to us. We'll take some out right now on the bid, get the fill, and that's what that is right there. It's a $9 winner, and we just took some off. So now we still have a piece. We can see where it runs to, and we'll start trading some more Amazon. But that's a little bit of that talk, so 232.
No, it's an important talk because at the end of the day, we've seen it. Actually, we have a friend that does some sports betting, and he'd always talk about that thing. Ooh, I could cash it out right now for X, and it's like you have like a million parlay or like a 3, 4, 5 hit parlay. That's no different from a trade of like multiple legs. So just can we go to Sean's chart for a quick second? I'm looking at his chart while I'm saying this, so it's easier to. Remain, can we just quickly go to Sean's chart?
Oh, I see you almost went to Ram.
I was going to say... I was going to say that, but I already I used Ram this morning. No, I didn't want to talk about GameStop. But if you have something moving multiple levels, right? So you had that bottom range, 44 to 44 even. It breaks that. Then you break the 938 bottom. Then you break out the current low as well. Then you're going back to yesterday's low. That's 3 or 4 levels that are in play. And you're holding like from station to station or from like drop to drop. And at some point you're like, okay, you got to take it out. There's no perfect answer to that. I don't care what anybody tells you. I mean, if you consistently always hold every single move all the way.
I mean, look at this stupid out right there because I was thinking it wasn't going to hold the 50, right? But we follow rules. Exactly what you're saying.
Exactly. You have to follow those rules, and that's why you make a good trade. So shout out to that. Although I will say this much, I was really hoping OKC. OKC was at the beginning of the year. That was my sleeper team.
You know what? That Nemhard is Canadian. I think he's from Mississauga.
Dude, Nemhard is legit. I love that team. I kind of feel like next year is going to be their year. We'll have to go for the Pacers because of the.
You were definitely in bed there, but that game at the end was crazy.
So I watched the highlights.
I was watching it live. I was like, what?
I can't stand it.
And then Marissa's like, really? This is going to overtime now? The last 1 minute took like 14 minutes, and I had to watch it.
Should never have gone to overtime. Can we be real about that?
I told her, I was like, I can't believe Boston's going to win this game. Shout out to Boston. I'm not
You
I'm
know,
not trying to hate on them.
Indiana blew that game.
Of course they did.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, shout out to Pascal Siakam too. I mean,
yeah, there's games that
Willie
winning
traded
games-
him for a bag of balls.
They lost that. Like, as far as
going
I'm
on with
concerned,
our
great game and all. Boston's the better team in the regular season and all that good stuff. But the Pacers should have won that game easily. It is what it is. Just very quickly, I did get out of GameStop, and it did make a move into 22. But I made the judgment call that it was pulling back into VWAP. I took it at this local high. It went up to 22 anyways, and then pulled back in. It was there down at 21 in the 30s for like a brief second. You had to be really fast to get it. So I'm out of it. I've gotten a few questions about Clover, and I think it was from the same person. Do I see anything in Clover?
I almost banned that guy.
Well, here's the thing. Clover is a stock that I was willing to look for the move on this if it could hold above $1. So my answer is going to be a no. However, I'll preface it with this. If it can close above $1 and then break out the next high, that's the day I'll become interested in. See all that nonsense chop around $1? Reclaim the dollar level and break out the next level. At that point, I'll be more interested. The volume in Clover is 6.3 million. At the exact same price, Barnes & Noble has 250 million. And it's actually more than that because we don't actually have all of the pre-market volume that Barnes & Noble's done. So my guess is it's done somewhere in like 40, 50, whatever the actual, I mean, it's at least, whatever, it doesn't matter, 40 times, 50 times the volume. Either way, Barnes & Noble's trading a heck of a lot better. And as long as it holds a buck, I'm going to hold on to the last little piece. On this last little bounce to the upside here, okay, so I'm not going to get 165 on the current move on AMD. If I'm working off of the next opportunity, the next one might just be previous close, which is right here, 164.60. I just want to take scalp trades off lower highs and play the curls. And the other name that I would do that with, well, okay, there's no levels out here. Never mind. I was going to say if we bouncing on Intel off that 31 level, there might be a shot to short it off at 31.40 or 31.50, but no. Intel got to that one way too early, but we are looking to go back over to AMD for some scalp trades. 164.40 is where I'm sitting.
Yeah, I think that's important. What Neil is doing right now is go back to a stock that you've either traded before or had like some past success with, because right now, I mean, this market is heading lower. But the key thing about all of this, by the way, what I was saying there was not about banning someone for asking about Clover. I mean, I hate that stock. Thanks,
I was repeating it.
It was just, for putting the same thing over and over again. I just don't want to try to make Bears versus Bulls life a little easier here. All right, so, we'll try to get to everything. We won't be able to, but the chat is for subscribers, so make sure you hit the like and subscribe and get into there. It's completely free to get there in our chat, and we're always looking for trade ideas. Like, I didn't even realize Clover was at $1, sorry, 99 cents. So that's something like, look at that $1.
Oh, it was a lot lower than that.
No, I know, but I'm saying now. Like, I didn't realize it was all the way back.
Well,
okay.
It's not that funny for people to.
No, I think I own that stock at like $3. It's been a nightmare. Hence my love for Chamath and all those other amazing trades that he gave everybody. Okay, right here. So anyways, 18, what I'm getting at here quickly, and we could talk about Chamath after, but 18,700. Right now. I thought that was a little more key than it was because we've already dipped down into 18,640 the last time we sort of broke it. So I'm almost thinking that like 18.6 down into 18.5. Like, I'm not sure this level is that important anymore. It almost seems like it's in the middle. So we've sat here and, what I'm getting at is we're defending here our trade on Amazon. We've made money on Amazon today, so we're not going to give it back, but we are going to give something back because it's about to break 182. And that was a level that we sort of trusted here. The 50-period moving average, I kind of liked where we were coming into the day on Amazon, but we're not trying to fight this trend. This is like 7 of the last 8 days downside there for AMZN. On this little bounce back up, let's take a little bit off. We just see, this is what I'm doing, and we'll talk about this. We'll all trade different styles, especially traders like Neil and myself, as opposed to others, because of the rapid executions that we could have. So like right there, for example, even if you buy 100 shares down here, up to you what you buy. If you're wondering about being in trouble and you get a little bit of a relief, I just took off 20% on the way back up. It's a profitable trade, but it's basically flat. So we can add liquidity and stuff like that. I'm going to hold Amazon now for retracement back. I like the 182. This is a level that we've talked about. Just took some pressure off of that trade. We're already short Nvidia. That's still $7. But remember what I was thinking right here about Nvidia? It's a good thing we were able to sort of talk our way into this trade. and talking about making sure we took some profit despite not getting the very bottom. That's pretty much the bottom. And what we just tweeted out was, again, not talking about being green on Amazon or on Nvidia by any stretch. I'm more proud that we flipped over to the short. I mean, once the market broke, Nvidia was not doing what we thought it was. This is a double hitter all the way to the downside. So we did pretty well making that back there and just flipping up the game. So I'm not going to be as stubborn about Amazon now. If this goes back up, great. But you could see the damage that we already did when the last time it was down here. We bought this exact same level, and instead we let it rip up to the 50, but then we failed. I hate testing. Like if we get that again, that would be great, but the market's not helping us. And how many times are you going to go without hitting? So like at some point they're going to break 182. Is it a short? I'm not going to take the short there, but could very well be. Amazon in the market, attached that to Hitman, down double fives right now, both in the market and in Amazon. So be careful, needless to say. I think this market's getting ready. There it is, pro day trader. How did you know I was going to flip short?
There's also a chance Bitcoin's making a bit of a double bottom here. I'm going to get to Mara in a second because I'm trying to get Mara off 21. But this is IBIT. I mean, Bitcoin's at 69, I was looking at Sean, 69,480, still underneath that 70,000. However, look at the volume and then wick bottoms on BTC. So double bottom of sorts on wicks and then holding up. So fast forward to the 21 level. I didn't mention 21 in the morning and didn't get it on Mara. Well, sometimes when the market does something ridiculous like this, where you're right back at that bottom, it just wicked underneath 21, held a 90, some long here, essentially 21 like 06s. If it holds a low, then we're gonna go back at least to the 2150 level for a scalp trade. But have my eyes on GBTC, well, not GBTC, on IBIT specifically, on Bitcoin. And if we make a fresh low and we're not out of it, then I would trim this position. But I am watching very closely what's going on in IBIT. That chart follows spot. I just need to see the trend. If it makes a fresh low, I punch out, whether or not a Mara has gone or not. AMD, we did get that last little pop back into 164.40. I got 35s. We'll take some out 164 even if it gets down there. The other thing to keep in mind for AMD, it's a consolidation off of this 50 period on the daily, and the lows are down at 62, and then yesterday you had 63. So every day it's been like $1 higher that it puts in a low, essentially is what I'm getting at. So the 64 easily could hold. Benton saying FFIE still trying to hold that dollar level. This is a bit of a gimmick trade. The dollar earlier on FFIE was huge on the bid, but it just did this. So it just wicked on the second largest, well, the biggest volume candle of the afternoon. You had to go back to the morning. It just bounced off a buck, went all the way to 107. Now that massive bid isn't there that I can see at 1 anymore. So I feel like it bounced this morning, gave 1 to 115. It then bounced at 1 o'clock and gave 1 to 106. It just bounced again on a huge volume. If it gets back to exactly $1, I kind of feel like it's going to break it at that point. Like I'd rather go long off a higher low than try to hope that it holds $1 for like a 4th time today. The volume's good, but for comparison, BNED's done almost twice as much volume on the day as FFIE, and it's not, I mean, FFIE is SSR, but it's down 25%. GameStop, I don't think we're gonna get our shot at VWAP, at least not yet, but remember, there was late buying in the last 15, 20 minutes after dips the last 2 days. So I'm still holding out that something similar happens, we dip back into VWAP and we go for another trade there. So the new trade, Mara off the lows, if we make a fresh bottom, we're just getting out. AMD, and then BNED, there's not much to do. If it breaks a buck, I've scalped most of this out. I'm literally holding the last 5% of the trade. If it breaks $1, I'm out of it, and we'll get away from that. If it got to the high of the day, we would have taken more out. But once it's under $1, I'm done with that trade, at least for now. AMC squeezing, I have no idea. Not really. GameStop's the one that's going. AMC's not even green yet. That's the thing. If you're trading these squeeze and meme names, just you want to be in the one that's moving. And for 3 days in a row, it's been GameStop, not AMC. It's nothing against AMC. It's just the truth.
AMC can't handle the truth.
But just, you know what? Everything started with GameStop.
Yeah.
GameStop has the staying power. It's found a better level to base off of where it's actually running off that
I'm
level.
impressed with
Oh, very quickly, I just got out at $1 on BNED. It just dropped to like 92. So you put your stop in. For those of you that don't trade without stops, this is the reason why you do trade with stops. Because why would you bother losing an extra 10% on that trade if your level is $1? Exactly. If I'm reacting to that as a human, which obviously I am a human hitting keys.
Are you though?
Well, I'm probably getting out at 96 as fast as you can get. Maybe 97s. Maybe even 90. Who knows? Like you could easily get out 93, 92. But a stop order is getting you out at 90, 99 exactly where I want to get out. So stop orders are important. If you're not using them, whatever. I mean, we say it all the time. I just say use them because it keeps you disciplined. If you put a stop order in, you have to make a conscious decision to cancel that order and disregard your plan. If you don't have a stop, then it's easy to just be like, oh, I don't feel like it. And then you just don't do it, which doesn't make any sense to me.
No, I think that's part of that rant that I went on there about trying to understand, like, when are you going to get out, like knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses, and trying to make sure that you capture profit when profit is there and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's so very important to absolutely everything that we're doing. And a big shout out to the meme winner of them all, I believe, and I'm not even sure it's a meme anymore. I mean, Carvana was one of those stocks that was really left for dead. You could have bought this thing, and we actually talked a little bit about this on the Wealth and Freedom podcast there, or Freedom and Wealth. That this was an awesome opportunity if you knew anything about the business, and some names work and some names don't. You even had to move up to 55 back into 25 on this. There's no reverse splitting. There's no action taken on this stock other than what you're seeing right now. I mean, sure, there's been debt offerings and things like that, but this is a true move from $4 bottom to one. So I call this a 40 bagger. I mean, and that is what it is. I mean, this is basically, if you get this at $3, I guess it maybe $4 bottom. So you're talking about 3x to the upside right there, 30x, sorry, at least. So 4 times 30, 120. I mean, that's where you are right now. And this just goes back to December of 2022. Now, we could cherry pick. I mean, there's lots of opportunities that you could have lost money going long. I mean, buying tops would have been a good example, or just not holding till now. But at the end of the day, you know, if you could do the due diligence and you believe in some of the stocks that you hold, these ones can be life changers at some point. So I do think that, although we talk very conservatively about some of the investments.
That isn't absurd.
That is absurd because you put in 10 grand, 30 times 10. I mean, all right, you're at 300, and then right there, that's a little retirement nest egg just off $10,000. You know, you just turn 10 into 300. Don't tell the tax man, but hopefully you're in the right account for that.
Well, if you're exactly. If you're trading it in your
even if you'd made,
TFS.
Hey, look, you just made $290,000. Pay some damn tax.
That's a good problem to have.
I mean, at some point, right there. Another good problem to have is diamond hands. I still remember when Tony, one of the best ever to do it here, Tony the Tiger, Toronto Tony, Tequila Tony. We gave that guy so many damn names. I still have that picture of me and him at the Blue Jays game. It was great. But at the end of the day, diamond hands can be a problem both ways, good and bad. We just held Amazon. This is not diamond hands. I'm just playing around. But Amazon there tried to break 182. It did not. It went down to 98. Our stops are going to be a little bit lower than that. And then there's the retracement back up. So here we go. We wrote down 182. Have that confidence to take those trades. We're long Amazon, 182.13, and it's pay dirt right now. And we only have like a little bit left of this Nvidia trade. So that's a good one right now. So boom to go on that. Let's go Amazon. Let's make trading great again.
Ooh, I like that. I heard Schwab just had a move. I just realized I don't know if I'm going to take the break yet. I haven't decided on FFIE. But if I decide that I want to, I have to pay for locates, and it would make a lot of sense. Wow, that's even cheaper than usual. What's not even a half a cent per share? It's like half of a tenth of a cent. What that works out to, 5/100%. That's insane how cheap that's going to be. So I'm just going to lock them in. I just want to have it. If it breaks so under, cheap. Well, it's interesting. Like, so lately, just to clarify, at real trading, it's day trading. So you're going to pay a different fee for locates because you're shorting it and you're not holding it overnight. So clearly, if we're short a trade, we're just going to buy it back that same day. It's a much different price than I guess anyone else would pay. So when people say, "Oh, GameStop is the most expensive to short," I mean, it's not that much for us because we're getting in and out of that trade relatively tight because we're not holding on to it for days and weeks, which is where a lot of the cost and risk comes in when you talk about those. Hey, this stock is X% annualized, blah 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 blah. For the short. So I guess lock them in. It's ridiculously cheap, as I said. If it breaks $1, the size is not there on the bid anymore. Mars still looking, oh my goodness, GameStop. Yeah, we're not going to get this dip. Oh, AMD just came out. I'll get to GameStop in a second. So I just went into AMD off this local consolidation bottom. If I'm stair-stepping it down, I don't want it to go from here to here, and I'm holding the same trade. We shorted this consolidation bottom. It breaks it out, we get out, and then look for the next leg. I'm not at the point that I want to be thinking long in these. You'd really have to convince me of that long the way things are going, and now I can come back over to GameStop. I'm still looking for a chance for a playoff of view up here, but the higher this goes, I might have to move the target a little bit. So it broke out from 2140, might look for a 2150 dip buy at this point. As it goes higher and higher, I'm still looking to buy the dip. I don't want to change that plan, but getting back to 21 seems less and less likely the further this does go.
Join me tonight in the Market Recap Show where we will be going all over NVIDIA earnings, and we do have Miss Danielle Shea.
Yeah.
So that's always fun when she comes.
Well, it's always a great day to have her on, but I mean, NVIDIA earnings, doubly so.
Yeah, it's gonna be a spicy meatball. We just got out of some Paramount is doing something. There we go, 182.50.
Oh my God.
Let's even go higher. All right, Amazon again, as it was written on here, 182 long. Hammer time. So we did that. Good trade there. Last but not least, we'll still look at NVIDIA. So in getting very excited about trading and everything and talking about everything, we actually missed where the 50 period was. Remember, we were using the 50 period here. But the thing is I wasn't getting out anyways. I'm just looking now potentially. Do we want to build another short? Remember what my theory was, even though the short just won, and it was probably my best trade of the day because we talked about it, we understood why we wanted it, we talked about the 50 period breaking there and holding, get a retracement back for the first time, that's the key. Retracement back to the 50 period for the first time, held. Boom, downside. We like it, we got the top, and we got the top at 943 and the bottom at 934. Pretty much, right? So we had the top and the bottom of this move. Would have liked to have some more right there, but we were cautious that we were maybe getting stopped out there. So now the pullback's in. Good, means it's working, our 50 period moving average, but I didn't want to put more into this. Why? Because now I'm thinking like, if I were to be wrong, I'd either have to punch out almost immediately, which would be fine, but I want to give NVIDIA some room because if you don't give NVIDIA room, then you're going to lose no matter what. Obviously too much room this morning. And then right there, 944 would be more a reload spot for me. So again, I don't want to back talk what I'm saying, and what I mean by that is I thought NVIDIA was going to run into the close. I'm still not away from thinking that way. So I'm going to be pretty cautious. Why don't we just stop out right here then? 940.50. I think that's good. That'll be $3. We can cap out at that. You mentioned Schwab, or maybe you didn't, but we're hearing in our ear. There's an event happening with Charles Schwab as we speak. I think it's a Charles Schwab hosted event. So this stock has been wicked awesome. I mean, just straight up, ever since they had their little problems in last year with KRE, all the regionals, I'm losing the name of them, Pac West and NYCB and all that, and First Republic was the other name. Charles Schwab got to the downside there, but since then, man, pretty sweet recovery. And right now, I don't know what they're talking about, but they do have maybe, Adara's not here right now. Oh, it's their investor day today, I'm hearing in my ear, so watch out for Charles Schwab dancing around right now. I don't think it's worth getting involved unless you're watching or listening and know exactly what the heck's going on right now with Charles Schwab, because it just dropped $5 or $4, 78.50. Check the math, 350 on that, straight to the downside. And these wicks are deadly.
Yeah, that's not the same as trading. Like if Boeing has bad news, okay, bad news headline hits, you read what the headline is, and that's the same thing. But like a presentation, they could say one thing, then now they're talking about something else, and then like this was bad, but then this other point is good. It's just vastly different. So sometimes you'd see us jump over, well, just look at the first move and short off of that. I don't think you do that. It's like the same thing as an earnings call. Like just look at Pinduoduo. I mean, like it goes down, what was it, $25 range when earnings came out to the call move. Like good luck with that. You don't even know what they said on the call in that moment that caused it. You just know that you're getting run over. So I said I would short the pop in Intel. I just went ahead and did that. Oh, GameStop. The whole point is not to get FOMO on GameStop, but I'm going to do my best. It just continues to hold higher and higher. But anyways, short this lower high in Intel. I actually didn't get everything. Still sitting on the offer here. We'll see. Just trying to get more 19s. I got 18s and then some at 19, and I'm trying to get some more just sitting on the offer. Moved it down into 18. Mara's doing nothing while GBTC, sorry, I keep saying GBTC, while Bitcoin holds the low. So it's holding higher lows. Mara is exactly 2 cents out of the money. It's gone 5 cents in the money at the most at this particular point. And I keep looking over, and every time I look over, it's like the dip that you want is not happening on GME. It just continues to go higher. So I wanted 21, like down into 2150. It just stalled out at 70s. Just gonna have to start getting on the bid every single time it makes any kind of a consolidation bottom. It does one of these, wherever that bottom happens to be, just kind of punch long off of it instead of waiting for the exact price. Because you could have had 80s with a 65 stop there, and I was waiting for a little bit more to the downside on GameStop. It looks like it's gonna be one of those afternoons on GameStop. It just went green on the day.
Nice.
If in sympathy AMC goes, I wouldn't completely write it off. Actually, you know what? Now it is going. Okay, I kind of mocked that AMC was doing nothing. AMC is going a little bit here. Is it through? It just got through today's highs. I still like GameStop better. You know what? Let's just stick with GameStop. I don't want to be jumping from one to the
I
other.
don't think it's a good idea to jump through.
No, I'm just
all
gonna.
All of a sudden, like news hits on one, and then you're like,
Yeah.
you know.
Trading GameStop all morning, all afternoon. I'm going to stick with that one. So next available dip. I don't know if it's going to be 22 or 21.90, but I'm looking for one of those little hammer, big volume red candles. And then if there's any recovery off that, I want to punch long and then see if we can't get out on the way back up toward the high. So anticipating a bit of a dip. Mara is now whopping 2 or 3 cents in the money. We're short Intel. Don't see a re-entry back in AMD yet, but I haven't completely given up on the short there.
Okay.
I just saw that Clover question again. No, we
You
went
did?
over. I did. That's fine. We went over Clover. Like I said, if Clover breaks $1.15, that's the level I care about.
Look, I don't know what's going on here. I mean, we've talked about this a little bit here. I saw some Moderna talk, and I know you've talked about that, up 13% today. I don't know what the news is here, other than I just clicked on this from Trade Ideas. This is what the Moderna chart looks like. It's just like, I mean, huge move to the upside, and right now you're coming into some kind of potential resistance. It's straight upside. And then if you flip it over and just look at what's been going on today, I mean, okay, taking out highs, holding the 50-period moving average, looking hella strong. It's Moderna. And so I just clicked as like, what's the news up with this? What? Experts predict rise in COVID-19. Are these the same experts as before? Because
Have you heard about the new variant?
Right, new variant. Yeah, sounds huge.
What was that
the
called again?
KP2 strain rate here represents 28%. All right, if we're going up on
It's called Flirt, the new version, isn't it?
Right. So this is the thing. I'm just, look, regardless of, you know, the flu is running wild again here, COVID's running wild. I know it happened. It is a thing. But like when you're looking at Moderna going up the way it is right now, if it's going up on stuff like that, I mean, I like Moderna because I like the mRNA technology. I think it's going to be great for cancer, different studies moving forward, and I definitely want to be long many biotechs. We talk about IBB, we talk about XBI, various names. There's a show that we generally will talk more about indexes and things like that. It's your market recap show, and join me and Adara tonight with Danielle Shea with live NVIDIA earnings. But I love the name, I love the stock, no problem. It's just, there has to be something else, right? I mean, that can't be what it is. And if that is what it is, then I think this is a sell at some point. I feel like because, what I meant to get to too is 7% short float, so that's helping the name for sure. We saw it go crazily, I'm not going to call it a weekly chart, we saw it go parabolic, up to $700 or $800 or something like that?
Well, the weekly chart bears, I mean,
yeah, so
right.
So you can get it up there, but I'm just looking at this. We're running into some situations here right now where, shout out to this situation, Jim Tan Laundry, but at some point here you're going
Hope
to.
he's doing okay.
Yeah. Oh, he's doing more than okay. Trust me, that guy's has millions right now. He sold some book. He's doing crazy.
Oh, good for him. Good for him.
Yeah. So go to jail, sell some books. That's sort of my plan. And then right here, 165 coming through. That's not my plan, but 165 right there. Could be running into something. I just think if you can get into this 200, man, that's a short. And I don't, I'll check out the RSI and all that kind of stuff, but barring like some sort of a medical breakthrough of some sort, I want to short Moderna, but maybe not yet. Definitely huge trade to the upside, 13. I mean, we're just talking about it
I
at 12%.
sold half my position $6 ago.
Yeah, probably a good move. There goes Moderna straight up to the upside. I would say congratulations to everybody.
Well, just
to you, to everybody that has this name, but I just think it's going to at some point get real frothy real quick.
actually, it's a really good point because I was like having a conversation with, I think it was Ponzi or Rivian Millionaire at lunchtime, and we're talking about whatever stock, and I was like, oh, but that's in my long term. He thought I was talking about like a swing, and we're talking about Lululemon. I'm like, oh, that's in my long term. I buy like 20% now. I'm not even looking at it for another year or half a year at least. But when I got into Moderna, that was a shot play. That's in my TFSA, and I'm not looking at that 50% move and saying let's not take profit on it. I was already sitting at the weekly on the weekly chart, which Sean kindly to Moderna shareholders did not show. It's not looking good.
I said 700 though. How high did we get?
Does it matter? It's 500.
Yeah, 500.
I mean, does it really? I mean, it got down to like $70 or whatever it was. But the 50 period, sorry, the 200 period on the weekly was right here. That's where I was like, if it gets to there, I'm like, it holds $100. This is the 50. Once it closes, I'm like, get the long. It's like long here to here. Take the money and play with house money was always going to be the play for me. It just so happens to go further. But I look at this, if it gets to 200, I'm not letting it get back below 190. So if it cracks 190, I'm then trailing this at 190, and I don't care how far it goes. That was always going to be a shot play off of this, like the weekly chart on Moderna, but then you have to define what it is you're going for. If I anticipated, I think Moderna is the greatest company in the world, I'm going to hold it forever so my daughter can own those shares or whatever happens down the line, different story. Not the case in my opinion, so that's not the way I'm going to treat it. What else we got going on? Bull trap on ES, Cigar says, be careful. I don't 100% disagree that we could still be headed potentially to the downside on this last move up. That said, I mean, I got wicked out of AMD. It came right back down. It's actually putting in a lower high right now. I'm wondering if I should.
Did you get wick shimmied or just wicked?
Well, I don't know what wick shimmy means necessarily.
Join the club.
No, but so when we say that, when I say wicked out, all I'm trying to describe is I got out and reasonably speaking made the top, right? Like it was this wick that got me out, and then that was essentially the high. That's what I just mean by wicked out. I'm assuming wick shimmy means it did it a couple of times, like it went up, down, and around a few times off the same level. Effectively, that would be the same thing because you still get stopped out. Maybe just get stopped out more than once. I'm not sure. But as long as we're making lower highs, I might want to go back into this one. GameStop, it's making a bit of a dip. So let me show it. I have a level 2 up so I can watch GameStop when I have charts up. But just to show you, it's now making that move in. This is the next available opportunity, it looks like. Just looking for a bit of a hammer bottom. And then once it shows a little green, this is a 3-minute chart, by the way. So it could take a minute or two to settle itself out. I want to get the long back up through. So now I have my eyeballs on GameStop. Mara has, maybe Mara did this yesterday. I feel like there was a moment, yeah, it was Mara. Okay, so Mara was moving down, made this consolidation bottom when Bitcoin went. I'm like, oh, let's get short. Then it just went sideways the entire way. I ended up getting out flat mostly, and then it kind of went higher, but it just didn't follow through. This time I have a different approach. Like we're actually long off that 21 bottom. I'm sitting on the offer here in front of 21.20 and then 21.30, and then I said 21.50 would be the target, not even VWAP with this one.
Yeah, we're going to take, again, another 40 cents here. Same trade, but we're just going to take it out on Amazon as it comes back to the upside. I was just reviewing my notes. Normally, on a downtrending name like this, we would definitely like to, AMC breaking out to new highs, we would definitely like to get out here at 182.50, so we just did that again. I mean, that was the best move. Now we'll hold out for the rest. We only have about 20% left of that trade, and then we have pretty light. We have 10, was that be 10%? Yeah, about 10% left of Nvidia as well. So, but that's, again, a little bit of a different story because that thing can move dollars. All right, watch out for 5. Talking about dollars, here comes AMC.
It's already 3 o'clock.
Holla at $1. So $5. That was the high yesterday.
Is it? Oh, wow.
For AMC. And today you are at 485. And that's, so if I can just like rewind the clock 24 hours, this is exactly to the 20 minutes, 24 hours ago. And we just did a move that looks...
It's a trap.
I mean, does it not look the same? I mean, obviously we based a little bit lower, but we were basing and then bumped. So there's the base and there's the bump. And we started pulling back at 3:30, and that was the high of the day. And we actually wind up closing on the lows. So if that is true, and I'm not, this one right here looks, I didn't even pay for shorts. This looks like a fade to me. From here, I mean, whether or not we go back to the day's low, I wouldn't think so, but AMC today looking pretty strong, up 3.5%. I mean, in a down market, you got to like that, and AMC is different than them all because we've seen this $4 hold multiple times.
Oh, as if FFIE.
So that could be the story.
So apparently I was wrong about FFIE.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
It is what it is. I wait for the break, and I said, look, I'm going to go one direction. I'm going to take the break underneath $1 instead of the long off $1, and they defended it. The size wasn't there, and it didn't matter. There's your pullback into VWAP. I'll leave the order in. I'm still willing to take the break as long as it's not like 345 or if the closer it gets to the end of the day, I'm probably not going to want it. But it's still potential that it could come back down. It's underneath 110. It's within 10%. It is short sell restricted, so it's harder for them to punch through on that bid. But GameStop, just going from one to the other, GameStop, we did just take this, and you just saw my stop fire right there. Now, so when I use a stop order, it's not like you just actually saw it trigger. So we took the dip and then it gave it to the local bottom, which was like 21.85. So what you actually saw live happened, part of real trading, it's not a market order that fires. It fires an aggressive limit order, just so happened to cross right to VWAP, just a coincidence. It fired at 21.40. It filled pretty much 2 cents away from our trigger price. But you saw that live order. My hands weren't even on the keys, but that's the idea of a stop order. Maybe we get a retracement into VWAP. I have no idea, but we'll wait for the next available dip. The buying came in really late the last 2 days. It was an up move twice in the afternoon, but the last ones are at like 345, 350 the last couple of days on GameStop. So I want to be looking for the long, even going into the last 10 minutes of the day on GME. If it happens, it happens. I just want to look to join a move if we see the same thing as the last couple of days. Finally got at least a little bit of a move in Mara as IBIT, higher lows, but still, I mean, we're still at 69.5 on Bitcoin. So a nice little bounce, higher low off the 21 level. It just got to 21.20. I have an offer at 21.30 as well. You know, that's all we're doing here. Like this, it's 21 to 20.90. So at 21.20 and 21.30, and then we'll hold for the 50. Maybe give it some room around 50 to 60 if it can get there. AMC, like you said, you already talked about AMC. I guess there's no point going over that. I'm watching GME, but AMC did somewhat surpass it in terms of volatility, at least in terms of strength for a hot minute. But I'm still going to focus on GME, I think.
I like GME. Good stock there. All right, so.
Oh, you got to be, whatever, too late.
Yeah, so everything's always too late, I guess. There's Nvidia. We're going to try to get ahead of this and look to short into here again. So 944, VWAP 945. The only problem is we've already passed this. And remember I said we were not going to short this?
Low cancel.
That last time, so I feel like, again, like, at least props to that idea, or else we would have lost shorting 938s into the 50 period. And we sort of thought that that wasn't, because we broke there. The minute we started holding out a little bit higher, remember I was cautious of that, so we got out. And by the way, I just rearranged my stop, right? Because I want to take more shares here, so I changed everything. So this position right here that went $9 for us, our stop was 945. So I just looked at that. We were short at 943.50, so about $1.50 worth of a stop. $9. So again, it's like that kind of risk to reward, and that's why, like, if you're going to use more shares, that's all good. But remember, if you can't just get out of them all when it breaks, and then only out part when it wins, right? And so that's why when it comes all the way down here, and you're like, and I remember I was saying like we had a bigger winner than like nets around here. That's part of why we took it out. It's like looking at average true range a little bit. You know, like when you have this move that's $9 in 15 minutes, hasn't happened too often. It happened there, we got to retrace it back, then it happened again, and then there's $9 the other way. So it's like you could take this trade both ways, long, short, whatever. You just got to follow your rules. And I see some people in the chat obviously talking about that. That's the biggest thing that we could talk about here every single day, is looking at rules and following them. But what about crypto, they say? All right, so Bitcoin right now is 37 and Ethereum 69.40. 69,640 on Bitcoin. Maybe if I just zoom this in just a little bit here. Hold on a second, let me just click this. Shift, there we go. So let's have a quick look here. So can they see that? Yeah, they can. All right, so Bitcoin right now, just in the last 24 hours, not really doing a whole heck of a lot. As we scroll down, Solana with a nice 178. I mean, that's a good little trigger spot there. Ethereum's high of 4,100. I think that gets tested. I think it gets tested probably pretty soon. There, I think, anyways. I wouldn't be surprised if over the weekend there's a run on that. But again, very sensitive to news, that's what's created it to the upside there. Cardano down 4%, so that's not good. As we go downside, just trying to see what's up. Nothing major here up on the day. So Solana and Ethereum, the two that are up, everything else heading to the downside. Ripple, there's Dogecoin, 16.5 for Doge, and then a whole bunch of zeros, 2534. On Shiba Inu. So yeah, some good trades happening there in the cryptoverse, but been pretty quiet so far here today. We had that big move early and then kind of a fade, and it's been kind of a snooze fest right now.
Just for me, somebody needs to there should be like a TikTok instead of just do the whole Shaba ranks and Shibu and get it out of the way. And I want to see some kind of remix with Shaba ranks, just saying Shiba every single time. I don't know any of that thing. I feel like there was a moment where
you should do that TikTok.
I can't look. You know what? I can understand patois. I was born here. My family's from Antigua. Now, I can understand patois dialect, whatever you want to call it, unless it's the real stuff, the hardcore. Like my roommate in university, one of them was from Jamaica, and his dad would call, and I didn't have a clue what he was saying. But I can understand dialect. I just don't do a very good accent. So I'm not going to do any reggae stuff because I'm not going to do any justice. I'll keep it real. But I think it would be a heck of a lot of fun because why not? Those things need memes, and if they don't have them, then how else are they going to go up? I just want to go over. I just got out of Intel, but I want to make a point about Intel for tomorrow. If Nvidia does anything bad tomorrow, as far as I'm concerned, Intel had a nice run after holding $30. It's flat bottom broken it, and if it's anywhere near 31, I think this is all in play back into 30 if we have a bad day for Intel. And then I would be looking to be short anywhere, somewhere in this gap, 31 into 31.50. If we're in the pocket there, and let's just say Nvidia does bad, I don't know, who knows what's going to happen, then I want to be playing that one to the south side. Mara did eventually bounce here. It got up to the 30s. Just to give you an idea, this 21 bounce in the afternoon yesterday, at lunchtime it bounced off 21 and got to 21.75. It then made a higher low bounce. This was at the 30 level that by close went 30 cents. So here, getting it at 30, I'm going to let this try to play into 21.50, 21.60, but Bitcoin is literally not moving. It's just going sideways. It can't break 70,000. So I think this is a station-to-station play. It was a key level. I knew I wanted to trade this level today. I will slap a fail on myself for not trading it at the open. We talk about opportunity cost at all times. I'm not complaining about looking at Nvidia today and AMD. That was the right place to be. I will defend that. However, it was at the cost of a few things. And one of them was 21 on Mara. The other one, because I should mention this, was that SSR bounce on target at $140. If you're bread and butter, I know somebody who's on vacation who this would be true on this trading floor, I know that's the trade. If you only look at those SSR bounces down 10%, target hit it at 140 even at the open and then immediately bounced. That's the perfect setup for that trade, even better than FFIE $1.01, because I think that's way too crowded of a trade as well. Uh-oh.
Yeah, Rivian announces, we heard about this Pivot Energy partnership.
Okay. Rivian's having a good day, by the way.
Yeah.
Up 5%.
Yeah. Rivian. All right, I just want to say this to Richard V. We talk about this all the time, and I don't think there's anything more important in a trader. And Adara's not here right now, but she'll tell you this as well. And she just started right now and is doing good. Mara twice today. Missed Mara, says Richard V. My conviction is not on. That's all that matters. Conviction is really the only thing that matters. And I'm talking about as a day trader. There's Adara. What's up, Adara?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good. How important is conviction as a trader?
So important.
Thank you. All right.
I wrote that on my notes today.
Good. She actually made notes on that today. All right. So what I'm trying to get at here is, and thanks, Adara, for that, is we could say, oh, I like Mara here, I like Mara there. How many shares did you put on? You know, how much did you make on that trade? Because the thing is, when you're wrong on trades, you're going to lose a lot. So when you're right on trades, and again, Freedom and Wealth podcast, you're going to hear all about this kind of stuff, man. What it takes to do this and other things. The idea is that, like, if I don't like Amazon, like, and we actually talked about this sticky note in episode 1, which is not all about trading, by the way. We'll talk about that later. We should do maybe a preview episode of the podcast at some point as well, baby. All right, right here, Amazon 182. Okay, no, it's the sticky note. All right, it doesn't matter. Trader TV, Sean, go find it. We're just having fun. All right, so the idea here is this, is that I wrote down Amazon, there it is. I wrote down Amazon 182 long. You know, look at this, once, twice, thrice. I don't need to say Obi thrice. This is not, we're not little kids here. You know, the idea is this, when something comes in, you take the trade. And then that's how you can come over and you could say, P&L number 1 on the show today, hot dog gun, is Shopify. Why am I holding up my phone? Sticky note. That's the number 1 idea on that, well, not number 1. Number 1 idea is Nvidia, which is the number 1 loser. Conviction works both ways. Okay? So that's how it works. You're not going to graduate as a trader around here if you don't have conviction. You're not going to graduate as a trader if you don't actually put on shares. You're not going to be successful at anything if you don't give it a go, and then when you figure it out, you push. You go for it. We talked about this. All the big businesses, everything in this, you go for it. Google dropped Google+. Did that work out? No, it didn't. But you know what? They took the shot on Google+, and you know what it morphed into? An opportunity with Reels, YouTube Shorts, all of that, and now YouTube is the monster that it was. Mark Zuckerberg himself, when he bought Instagram for $1 billion, I don't remember the date. Go back and look at it. Look at the headlines there. What is this guy doing? What is he doing with shareholder money? Blah, blah, blah. Instagram's worth $1 trillion. Not that much. Right now. Okay? So you got to think maybe it is worth that much.
Well, I mean,
the company's worth 2.8 trillion. What is Meta worth? Anyways, look at that. That investment has gone up 100x.
40% is probably reasonable. It's
how much?
I mean, its market cap's $1 trillion. So if you say 40%,
yeah.
I mean 30, 40%.
Meta's not. The 2.3 trillions is Microsoft and Nvidia and all that, but and Apple.
No, but the point stands.
Yeah, the point stands is that you got to take risk, you know. And I just think that even as a trader, it is hard to push those buttons and it is hard to take the risk. And sometimes you get smacked in the face. The biggest traders here, the ones that actually make money, actually lose the most money. So just think about that for a minute. Let that sink in. That's the risky environment that we're in, and unfortunately, it just continues every single day. There's not, this is why we come in every day. This is not a 9-to-5 job by any stretch of the imagination. This is something that you have to be passionate about, you have to lose sleep over, and you really have to put the work in to become successful to it. And then once you're at that level, then you'll start putting in risk and trading accordingly and actually making money around here. But it does take time. Not too much time. It just takes developing of a strategy. Once you have that, then you push on that. What's up, Kevin Mendoza? I'm trying to think about big plays only. And that's what I'm talking about. The biggest players make the biggest money but lose the biggest money. You just got to hope that you have more of the former than the latter.
Yeah, and everyone's gonna be a little different. Like I said, when I started trading, there was another trader that we were always side by side. And the way it would work is I was just gonna shout out Adrian here, you need to take calculated risk. That goes without saying. Yeah. You should have a plan and have it in and out. But then off of that plan, everyone's going to be different. What would end up happening is the two traders, he would constantly take way more trades than I would. We were trading the same stocks, basically. We were trading penny stocks when we first started out. We basically trade the same things, but he'd trade 3, 4, 5 times as many individual trades as I would. He would get shut down more than I would. But if you looked at the actual scope, like when I lost, I was losing the same. Like a big loss was a big loss, regardless between the two of us. He just took more trades. I was just taking a few less at the end of the day. Like the scope of everything was the same around the general strategy. Like if you're trading AMC, and I'm just using an example because I'm looking at AMC right now. Like if you're trading in a simple breakout on AMC, and you're trading this 460 break, let's say, and you can see where the top was yesterday. Like it's not. it's not rocket science to say 460 break, there's this high at 70, there's that high at 80. Like, you know where it can go, and it's maybe 10 cents worth it to that stop there. So if you go long 460 and you take it all out at 64, 65, well, R&R, that doesn't look very good. And then at the end of the day, most traders are going to see that in the same way. You just hit it, give it to that stop level, whatever it happens to be, and make sure that you hold on to some of that trade. Because the setups are going to be there no matter what. You just have to find and then execute that plan. Let me just, before we get back into the meme names, okay, here comes a rollover on AMD. We didn't break 165. Of course, it never breaks 165 to give me the quarters, but I'm going to go ahead and cancel that one because we just made another, as a kind of a power move down in to the downside.
Yeah.
There. It's only 320. My first thought was like, oh, did we just get some early imbalances? The answer was a resounding no, like nothing happened. I think we're just back to trending in to the downside. I'm glad that my mic is still working because I went to the bathroom and literally got caught on the door and yanked the heck out of the cord. So,
Yeah. That's okay. We got.
I think it's fine.
We got lots of money. We'll buy some more of that. Right here, $8. Again, have faith, have conviction, right? I mean, Nvidia. The only thing is we didn't short there. We had talked about it. We were waiting for this price to get short, but at least our idea was short. All right, Meta, let's go. We went long Meta, but unfortunately, we had to suffer through that dip. So it just tanked on us there. We were long at. That's gates of hell. Should not be hit. We're long now again, almost $1 on Meta. So we did get hit some there. I'm not here to tell you that we just didn't take some out for a hit there. But for some reason, the market just flushed, and I was trying to play Meta off the low of the day. So again, I know exactly the style of trader that I am. And I mean, we went right into support there. I like the stock. I like that long right there. Fortunately, we have to fight the market. And sometimes when you fight the market, just like the law, the market won. And right now, we're going to wait to see if we can get some back. So we'll just put back 70 cents in our pocket, but there was an initial hit there. Just don't know if you guys saw that, so we'll talk about it real quick. Nvidia goes all the way down into that level again. That was a $7 winner, now just a $5 winner. Funny how these things happen. Look at Amazon. Out, right at these highs. Funny how it goes right back to the highs and we get out. Again, this is real trading. We hashtag that all the time, but I've only made 5 trades today, 5 stocks, more than 5 trades. Shopify, banger on Shopify. I mean, one of my best ideas there today. Unfortunately, we could talk about the stop order that I left in, but long 59, long 59, long 59. These trades today that we wrote down again here on this, like Kevin Mendoza, you want big plays only? I mean, this is why I write this down and why I actually take the trades that we write down and put some respect on their name. No messages, I will not read it. Shopify, 59.50 long, right? We like the name. Here it is right here. How many ideas? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, Amazon, boomer. Nvidia, horrible. Made some back, obviously. There's the Shopify. GME, 20 bucks. I mean, we came close to that. So here it is on Shopify. Here's the long. 59, 59.50, 59 again. This long was so good. This went 50 cents in the money. We left a stop order out there, so we did take some more shares short by accident and had to cover those right here. That would have been a fluke win to the short. But remember, once we break 59, we're out. So the problem is when we went to lunch, we actually got out of them all. And then that short triggers, and then boom. So we give some back there, but that's another positive name. And then Amazon early, right? So again, we have 5 names on here. GME, $20. That would have been cash. Only went down to 21. Shopify long works. Nvidia long 950. We should just waited for 950, but we didn't. Tesla short didn't hit, and then Amazon and Shopify. And here's Amazon. Amazon off the 200 early. That put PL1. This just came back in. Boomed it to the upside. Now we're waiting out for it. And our Meta trade, by the way, still hovering around this. Again, a new position for us. Meta, $450 name. I don't know if there's a lesser one to trade. I mean, there's NVDA and things like that. But let's go Meta. Let's boom this up to the upside right now on Meta. We have, so just so you know, I have 4 times the shares Meta than I do Nvidia. So let's wait to see what winds up happening with this trade.
Speaking of, I ignored FFIE because, well, I didn't ignore it, but I was taking the break of $1. It's now above VWAP, and I'm not going to ignore that move. But remember, I said this the last time we traded it, I prefer dip buys on the stock. I'm not taking any breakout highs. I want to see big move up, rubber band back in. 110 was the last level. VWAP's in there as well. So if we get that dip, That was what was successful the last afternoon that we traded. It was let it do its move, play the dip, and then look for that bounce play. We still have plenty of time for these to go. It doesn't matter which one you're looking at, but this just started. Like AMC's already at the highs. GME, I can show you that one again, but you guys already know what's at the highs. This still has another 10% to go till the morning top. So if we do a pullback, we're gonna go for the long in there. Just double checking. We're still kind of at the same level we were at in Mara before. So we're okay with Mara, but I wanna get this dip into FFIE. Chandler, I did notice a firm, but I don't wanna, like a firm was never gonna be on my plan to trade. I did absolutely notice that $30 level, and if you're in a firm trader, you probably like the wick bottom it made down there. I think that's a good one. But I'm looking for the dip buy on FFIE, back into VWAP. It was just breaking out. You just had the biggest volume candle of the afternoon. It was off $1. Now it's off of $1.10. The last time, big volume candle up, retraced right back in, and then bounced. So if it does a similar move, either a bounce off 110, I would be unopposed to taking it at 105 if it gets down there as well. So FFIE, short sell restricted as well, down over 10% today. So tomorrow it's going to be SSR, but I'm looking for that dip buy on FFIE. I got another level 2 dedicated to it, so I can go over to something like a GameStop. Would still like to get back involved in this, but it's still chilling off of those highs. I think there's a better chance to be able to pick up FFIE than to try and grab GameStop. The last dip on the higher low didn't work out. It ends up holding that 21.7 level. But GameStop is an overall trade, obviously good. Could have been better if the last long we'd held on to, but I much like this down off those lows where we could be a little bit more confident, because that was the real pattern on this stock. It wasn't necessarily buying it off of the highs the last 2 days. It was these bottoms, and then just once it would trend back up, get the lower high, then the break, get the lower high, and not worry yourself with buying those tops. So that was a plan of action all day long. GameStop, I feel like we've already hit it. Maybe quit it. If you guys are still in that one or AMC, good luck to you. I think that's the right place to be for those longs. But as I said, it's going to be Faraday for me. Cephas just said Rivian spooky. No, it's not. I don't think Rivian's spooky at all. Rivian is gorgeous. Now, I had one trade on Rivian. Maybe we should have had another one off of VWAP in the afternoon, but I was like a one and done. Remember we left you guys in the morning show? It's like bounce off VWAP, get it to the high, didn't quite get the reloaded VWAP, and then took some out of 45. I said I would hold the last of it to this top. We'll zoom it right out. Pretty easy plan. This is the previous day's low. Dip in, take that long, scalp to this level, scalp out here, hold to here with a trail. Zooming back in here, you know what? Yeah, I'll slap a fail for not getting back into this in the VWAP. Yeah, like sometimes, now obviously this is at 2:30, like we're doing our little rundown and everything, and at that point I was kind of focused on GameStop and the chip names, rightfully so, but this should have been a thing in here. That's a good look, and maybe somebody has that. I don't think it's spooky. I think that's about as good a looking trend chart as you're gonna find in terms of an entry. You could have had it off the even dollar break at 10. It holds 9.95, so you could be long this break. You could be long back through 10 even. There's dip buys all over the place. There's a break of the morning high. There's a dip into VWAP late. There's even like you could go short this on a triple top. Like every trade you could want was right here in Rivian. Terper just said Lululemon. Don't tease me with Lulu moves in the chat. Like we know what's going down. We know Lululemon is going into the gates of hell. This is about as bad as it's. You show me a better or worse looking daily chart here, and I'll be surprised. As I've said, I went in and bought some in my personal account, my long term 20%, and I don't plan on doing anything unless it's at this low or it's at the end of the year in the final quarter. I'm not doing anything with this. I'm not even considering any buy that isn't the 250 or near the end of the year based on seeing some kind of strength in the stock or just that support level. And that's a long term, so I plan on holding it for a really long time. If I was just trading it and I had taken a consolidation long, I'd be out. If I was swing trading it and I was in here, I'd just take it out when it makes a fresh low. Obviously, that's not happening on Lululemon. AMD just came back out. You don't want a daily chart. So once again, try the lower high short, and it keeps on pressing a little bit higher. So I'm looking for that dump into the low of the day, just taking the pot shots. When you get one, hold it. But if it keeps on creeping up, I don't want to be fighting it every single step of the way. Mara dipped back into 21. I don't love the reload because it's not moving enough. Bitcoin, I look over and Bitcoin's at the same price every single chance I check, within $100, maybe actually within $50. So it's not moving that much. So a reload with only 30 minutes to go, I don't think makes any sense unless it's parabolically going. You want to trade what's moving. I guess we're not going to get VWAP on FFIE. So I can nibble in at like 14s if we can get on the bid. With this stock, you do want to sit on the bid if you can. Save yourself that cent or cent and a half.
All right, so we are being a little bit greedy here with Meta because Meta has been $1 in the money now for a minute, like almost 10 of them right here. We bought that dip. Like I said, we did get stopped out at 466, but we bought back 3 times there because I was in it to win it for less than a minute. So I mean, boom, boom, like this was in 75s, in again right there at 20s, out at O's. So for like a 75 and 20 is probably like a 65-cent hit or something out immediately, and then just let's buy that back up, and then we did exactly that, and now patered a little bit on Meta, but we only got 1 fill at 75 again, so it's like we kind of made back what we lost, waiting for a pop, and I was just going to say, where do we like to get this out? So the 50 period is always a doozy for us, so why don't we do that again and just follow our plan? So we'll put something out right now at 467.40. In the 40s here. I never want to put it right, so I've learned my lesson. If I put something right here, market runs away from so far. So if I plant a little seed of doubt somewhere in here, which is an order, one of my orders that may or may not be in and around 47, then maybe, do we get filled yet? Maybe we'll get filled with a little undercover fill, meaning that we're not the one holding, cancel. Haha, I was the one holding up the level there, you can see with that 100 shares. So let's now see what's going on now with Meta. Hopefully a nice move back up to the upside. We're long right now, $1, Neil, 30 cents in the money right now for Nvidia, or for Meta. Nvidia's only $1 in the money. We'll address that in a second. But here comes Meta, right back up to the upside. Hey, maybe we're foolish pulling that order, or maybe not, as now it's $1.50 in the money. And going higher, Mr. Zuckerberg right there, that's another win for us. What are we even doing? That's a 466 long, out 467.70, another $1.70. Put it on the board. Yes, that's another one right there. Shout out to the Chicago White Sox.
Okay. So I love the trade, and I love the Hawk Harrelson reference, but we just got shut out by the Chicago White Sox yesterday.
But the Jays are shit. We've already talked
exactly.
about this. So let's
getting
deal
shut
with
out,
it.
getting shut out by the worst team in all of baseball.
They have 14 wins on the season, man.
But you know what they can do?
They don't give refunds on season tickets, no.
No, first of all, I'm a real fan. So, like, there's fair weather fans. They're just like, I only care when the team wins. Like, I just love ball. Like, don't get me wrong. Like,
great baseball.
I can watch baseball, like, good teams, bad teams. Like, when Paxton, look, if someone else no-hits us, I can enjoy that.
I was at that game.
Like, Paxton was unbelievable.
Can't believe you missed that.
JV was ridiculous against us when he did. Yep. It is what it is. Like, you can enjoy those types of moments, but
just so disappointing being.
It's just better when it's better.
It's a great game, but it so much sucks to be a fan.
It's difficult. Just quickly, I did get Faraday. I keep wanting to say future Faraday. FFIE just made the dip. Didn't quite get to VWAP. I said I'd get on the bid in 14. It then held 15, right, so I got 15. Go. Taking some out at 20. It's refresher at 20. I'm going to get another leg out there. And then 20. I have an offer at 23. The high this morning was $1.33. So this top in here, if we get to 133, that's where I want to take it to on FFIE. These squeeze names have been rallying.
Jeez.
AMC's now up 10%.
What?
Okay, so AMC, that's at 513. So great job for anybody that went to that name. GameStop stopped. Okay, I shouldn't be saying GameStop stopped. GameStop is stalled out a little bit here. It's still trend up, but like it's just not doing anything that we're seeing on AMC. And then FFIE as well, a little bit stronger than GameStop. So I think we're in the right place. AMC would have been better, but at least Faraday's moving. GameStop's taking it off. So, it did a lot of work yesterday. It did a lot of work the last few days in the afternoon. I think it's taking this one off, which is reasonable. Just one, I know we didn't talk about this name that much. Tesla's back at the 180 level. So this is the only place I traded this stock at all today, which is at 180. So if it fails 180, I'm a big support turns into resistance kind of guy. So if I was wrong about the direction there, if we get a curl at 180, this is a place to take a shot. It's 3:30, so there's still plenty of time until we have those imbalances coming out. I just reminded myself to look at the early look on the imbalances. And for some reason, Palantir is an early 1 million buy. Everything else, who cares about Enbridge or MO? But Palantir, 1 million to buy early, that's kind of a number. And I haven't looked at Palantir today. But Snowflake does report tonight. So I would expect Palantir is going to be moving in the aftermarket. If it doesn't, then I'm a monkey's uncle. But I don't know what time. Oh, no, we do know. Thank you to Brennan. Nvidia 420. Snow's at red at 405. So we're going to get Snowflake red at 405. I'd watch out for Palantir moving.
All right, I mean, you're going to see completely different styles here. I mean, look what I'm long. Amazon, Meta, Nvidia, now Neil into Tesla, but before FFIE and Mara. So again, this is kind of like rapido trading, a little bit slower, different style. And on that note, you want to talk about confidence? We already said that's the only thing that matters. Amazon, 182. Trading this is what it's all about. Meta right now, $2.50 in the money. Take a drink. But it's a slippery slope, as we said again, because look what happens to Nvidia as the market starts to rip up. And it's a good thing that we talked about having 4 times the shares. And again, I don't have a problem telling you guys that. You can ask anytime. 4 times the shares we had on Meta as opposed to Nvidia. And we just lost on that initial short, breaking through VWAP, but we're still kind of hovering around. So I'm going to take one more shot here on Nvidia being down on the day. But remember what we said, we do not want to get out of the pocket of what our thought was. And that is that there's a very great chance that this ramps into the close. Because now I'm just thinking you could get Nvidia down right now. You're at VWAP. So anything bought down here means you bought lower than VWAP today. That's a success. So there's a lot of trades graded based on where you are according to VWAP. So heading into earnings, if you're long down here and you could say, look, we got long underneath VWAP, so what they reported on that day and blasted out, we got the best prices for our customers, right? And so our clients. So that's something there that I could see this name starting to ramp up right now. So we're going to get out if this breaks 947. It looks like that is what it's going to do, and then we'll wave the white flag finally there for Nvidia. But hey, man, the white flag's being waved over here, but we are just pouring it on. Oh, there it goes. It's about to break. There it goes. We're pouring it on. That sucked. That last trade, we just got stopped out. $1.50 hit. We're $2.50 in the money now on Meta. That's starting to go upside. And then Amazon, the same trade. So I think we should probably be done now on Nvidia. Although, see what just happens? It just goes to 947. We get taken out pretty much for flats there, which is good. Good fill. And then now, kind of hovering around. So let's just regroup a little bit. The NASDAQ made that move all the way back to VWAP. So again, good move off of 18.7 back to 18.8 almost. Got to slow down, gave some money back there on Nvidia, but thankfully we had Meta and Amazon to sort of help with our pain as those continue to go back up to the upside. Shopify trying to get some legs as well right now. And so, yeah, you're probably right.
That's a big move in the NASDAQ. Go green.
I trade with multiple millions, but if you do have less than $1 million in your account, just trade, but you can't trade the same share sizes. There are traders, obviously, that would still trade these same names, and it's not about how much you have in your account, because you can always trade other names that are less valued as well. NVDA is one that's a little bit less there. But I agree, if you're trading these names and you're trading the same as this, you're going to have a little bit of buying power, because $947, I mean, I'm talking about just taking like 100 shares, and for a lot of people, that's either way too many shares for, first of all, a lot of traders, but then second of all, you might not have that much in your account anyways. So if you can't average into position, that's something to always think about. So again, yeah, trade your style, and as long as it's working out for you, you're in the right spot.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about multiple vehicles to trade. There's always something out there. You don't want to trade Tesla. I mean, you can go to one of those like leveraged ETFs, or you can go to Nvidia, same thing, or you can just trade something else. Maybe you like Rivian on a day like today if you like it. Just quickly back to FFIE. It just tagged 123. I just took another leg out, and then there's another dip back in. So I'm going to go for the reload. I've moved my stop up to the break. It's not break even, but it's this lower high. There's a buyer at 113 where this rested before. So I'm just going to go for the rinse and repeat if it can bounce off that buyer one more time. But if it just runs clean through, I'm just going to get out and look for another entry. Like I'd like to, on the way back down, there we go. See, just got out at 112, but this is the idea. If it puts in the higher low and holds that level, I just punch back in long. But I want it to make a down move, bounce, and then I want to play the bounce and just not anticipate that it's going to happen. So I want to see this get back above and then hold, and then I'll go back in potentially to that. But I do want to check out AMC because AMC has been the bigger runner. AMC pulling back. You can see it was a stronger one, now back into $5. Might not be the route to go. If it's going to make a continuation play, I don't want GameStop, which is already stopped. AMC already pulling back in there, jumping back on the bid. You already got your move. It went 114 to 123. We take it out for a 2-cent hit. The last 40% of the trade. Maybe it could have been the last 20%. That'd have been more reasonable, but that's not what we got. Tesla was the most recent thing that we just got into. I'm still in Mara. I mean, Mara's in the money, 27 cents. My target's at 50. So it goes another 15 pennies we get out of Mara. It's about to hit 340. We have 10 minutes till the imbalances hit. At that point, I might tighten things up. Tesla, I'm bidding out in front of 179, just looking for a move down in. And look, I'm not here to tell anybody, oh, this vehicle is better than that vehicle. But I will say, like, just be careful when you're. I just saw someone say, just trade CFDs. Be careful with that. That's a little bit different. It's one thing trading in the actual market on an NVDL or an Nvidia because you're trading against the actual shares in the real market. CFDs will operate a little bit differently. Big shout out to True Trading Group. Thank you for the 50 memberships. Go get them, everybody. You do have to enable gifts. Then you're able to get these memberships. But big shout out to True Trading Group. We respect you guys. Great friends of the show. Grab them. I can see everyone getting them in there. So good on you guys for doing that. Always fantastic, spreading the wealth and sharing the love.
All right. Yeah, shout out to True Trading Group. What's up to everybody over there? All right, so Boeing plane deliveries to China delayed right there. So,
1 week, Boeing.
Off of VWAP
go 1
here.
week.
They cannot. We'll go short. That is the 200 period. I mean, I think this is well worth the risk right now on Boeing. I mean, I don't know. This could be the other way. I mean, whether or not it's their deliveries are delayed or not, it's China news again. The last time you followed something on China, you lost because apparently Apple was dead on China.
Yeah, but that's different.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I'm short, so I agree. But I'm just saying the last time you took news out of China was wrong, especially on big names. So we'll have to wait to see here what happens with China. Remember, anything that gets reported out of China, I think you have to take with a grain of salt. Watch the stock action happening right now. So we'll go short here, but not for very long. I mean, if we could break, normally I'd trade it off the 200 period. That looks like a decent shelf. So 186, maybe even all the way to the back of this. That's just what we're hearing in our ear. Let's get it from Adara to figure out what maybe this is all about.
Yeah, so from what I'm seeing here, it actually doesn't have to do with the planes themselves. It has to do with the batteries used in the cockpit voice recorder. So to repeat, from what I'm seeing, the issue here and the reason these deliveries have been delayed in China, which is reported from what I can see by a source to Reuters, again, not seeing tons of details here on this, but Boeing's plane deliveries to China have been delayed because China is looking to review the batteries used in the cockpit voice recorder. So this review conducted just by China to see how those batteries are doing in the cockpit voice recorder. Boeing has responded itself saying that they are looking into this, trying to speed up those deliveries. But yeah, so Boeing has addressed this, saying that they're looking to speed those delays. So we've seen a little bit of a move back up here. But yeah, if I see any other details on this story with Boeing and China, I'll let you know.
All righty then.
Appreciate it, Dara. And look, we pile on the stock. It's just because they have bad news all the time. That last thing that happened, unfortunately, on that Singapore flight had nothing to do with Boeing whatsoever. Turbulence is turbulence. And it was unfortunate as it is, that had nothing to do with the plane. I'm in it, and I'm giving, 186 is where this stock fell apart. So you can see right here, there's a big candle, 186 broke down. So I shorted it back off this level, which is 185.66. I got 55, and I'm giving it to 186 even. If we get down to 185, is what it is. That's the first level. I want it breaking underneath VWAP, and then we'll get some at 185 and take it from there. On the bigger picture, Boeing's actually making a bit of a bottom on the daily chart. It's back above the 50 period and consolidating above. Things are starting to look not as bad in this chart for the long term. So even if it's down today and say it goes down tomorrow, if it hangs on to this 175, 180 area, that's a pretty good start for Boeing. It had a big volume low through 165 and has been on an upward trend ever since. So I want to give Boeing its due on the higher time frame. You got to, when in doubt, zoom out. It's easy to crap on the stock, but we should also acknowledge when it's showing signs of a turnaround, right? which it is doing. So you get a bit out in front of 185. We'll see where it goes. Oh, Tesla made a bit of a push after that big move up, bit of a push down, just got halfway to 179. And we'll see how far it can go. It didn't quite get to 180, so I got 179.81 as my price. It just happens to be where it curled. If it had broken 180 and gone to 180.11, maybe I'd have a different price on Tesla. But it never actually broke the 180 level, so we didn't even get all in because I was looking for a press right into that 180. For now, we have 5 minutes till the imbalances come in.
That's it? Oh my God.
Yeah, in terms of taking anything new, I don't see myself getting into FFIE or GameStop or AMC this late. But we don't mind, like if I'm in the 3 and I think that'll be it for the day. Don't mind looking. AMC did just hold a dip into $5 for anyone that's still in it. Right to $5 twice, 15-cent range. It's consolidating higher, up 9% and still looking pretty good is AMC. Taking over from GameStop, which was the strong one for most of this afternoon until now.
All right, so we are going to give it back one more shot here on Nvidia. We're short at 946.37. We just took a fill right here. Let's see if it goes back down. I just saw it was kept on resisting this 948 level. I'm going to give it to like 949. We'll take some more shares at 948. We're a little bit early on this position. I understand that. Still 70 cents in the money, and then quickly it's not. So we're going to have to watch out. I didn't even realize. I'm just going to stick with the plan, but I don't necessarily think this is a great one because of these imbalances that are right here right now. So we got to watch out for a 9. I don't even want to wait for 948, 950. We break 949. I mean, that's where the 50-period moving average is right here on the 20-minute chart. It's something that we look at, but it hasn't really been great. I just can't hold this to 952. Not with imbalances, not with earnings. I'm just trying to play some of the levels that I'm seeing here. And if we break above that 949, I just think this is worth a shot. So we're going to try it one more time into that, and hopefully we don't get completely destroyed. But 949. 02 or so as an out, and then we'll cross up like 50 cents and see if we can get out of all of the shares that we will have. We'll take a little bit more up there at 48 if we can get going. But so right now this is against us 50 cents. But I just wish I didn't really recognize the time, which is why I did take a piece out there for that 50 cents the first time, because I don't want to get too heavy in this trade. So yeah, that's Nvidia right now. Boeing's not moving, so we have to wait for that. But other than that, that's what I'm stuck in, and we'll see if Nvidia wants to go. I mean, we could start the day with an L on Nvidia and end the day with an L on Nvidia, but we've done pretty good in between, including messing around with it here. We did get a good long back here, which was good until eventually it broke. Then we went short, got $9 on the short, and right now we're not bleeding away anything here. It's just we're kind of just back and forth right here at these up spots. So again, part of this was getting out of our long, which was great. We're happy with that. But right now, just trying to hold out to see what Nvidia does here into the close, which is probably, I said that it would probably go up into the close. So I'm already like back talking this. I should probably be long, not short. Yeah, nothing out yet. 3 more minutes till the imbalances.
Yeah, we're getting close to the imbalances coming out. But like I said, I don't know if there's going to be anything new on Boeing. It's stabilizing off of VWAP, but it hasn't taken 186 just yet. So I've got an order when it gets down to 1-to-1, and then I have one underneath 185. Why anchor yourself to 185 if support was at 184.80? I've tightened my stop. I said I would do this if we got closer to 350 and Mara was still not moving as much. Which is just move my stop up. I was giving it to break even at 21. I've moved that up in here to the quarters. Still offering in front of 21.50. That hasn't changed. It was like a one shot in Mara. There's your 21 hold. It doesn't move nearly as much as it does in the morning, but that's, you're going to get the moves that you're going to get. Bitcoin's doing a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah.
So like I actually thought there was a chance if the market bounced kind of the way that the NASDAQ did, that Bitcoin would make a run at 70,000. That hasn't happened. It's moved like $100, so it's very close, but it's not there. And then Tesla, we're still, whoa. Oh, okay. I just got to trail out on Mara there at 348, but I was about to go over to Tesla. And Tesla's still working its way down. It's at 179. I've now moved bid down to 178. It still wants to reject that 180 level. Look, I like the 180 long all day long on Tesla. But Tesla has decided that it is a short today. Down 4% is what it is. The trend is very clearly in the other direction. You can want it to be a long. But you want it to be one way? Like Marlo said, it's the other way.
Yeah, exactly.
You love Marlo, by the way.
Yeah, I got to watch The Wire. I mean, I have, Like I said, man, I ain't got time for that. I wish I did. Hopefully I will soon. All right, so we only have a minute left right now to come in for these imbalances. Obviously, we sit here and we watch Nvidia. We've only traded a couple names today, and we just got into one other one. We just got into two more. So we really just traded 3 names today. I used to trade a lot of names, but now we're really focused on just a few and not taking all the opportunities, just trying to take the best. And I don't know if this is going to be a good one or not, but right now here comes, oh, sorry, that's Boeing. What am I doing? I'm looking at Nvidia on my other screen. This is the one that means everything right now, just because we have those imbalances coming out, and I know the way it can move. I mean, Boeing, I'm not scared of. If it takes like that 186.50, I don't know. We'll get out of that one. But it's this Nvidia trade that's now in the money. We're short at 946.70. I do have a bid at 946 just to take some out, to take out a quarter or 20% right there. So that's a good trade. Now hopefully this will fall back into the close, and then we'll be able to see. So like I said, we're like, you know, there's a dollar or two. You're seeing me take this trade right now. So there are some trades in here for Nvidia. I'm just a little nervous as we only have a couple seconds until those imbalances come out. Let me put a lower bid just in case we get filled. 2 and 1. Now we're out right now. Yes, sir. Holy shnike. Nice move to the downside right now, as this is what we're doing. It's a print factory. It's Nvidia, and it is downside. It is now $5. You see what we're talking about, traders? This is what we're talking about. You have to put on trades if you want to actually win. Not good ones sometimes, but this is a good one right there. Boom, goes the dynamite on Nvidia. Look, sometimes we get wrecked on it, but I said we're sticking to our plan. We like these shorts. It worked out for us. It's Nvidia. Turn it up, twist it out, and we're really get excited about this one right now. Nice, look at that move right there. Some people like 942.50, Neil. We just made $5 in 1 minute there. Sometimes it works out, sometimes she doesn't, but so far so good here. Let's just get out of our Meta and our Amazon and enjoy the rest of our evening. Damn, Daniel.
And if you wonder where that came from, 600,000, NVIDIA doesn't usually have imbalances, but 600,000 to the sell side. I went right to that number. AMD sell side, 600. And Microsoft, 700,000 to the sell side, just looking at the bigger names. Apple, 1 million shares to the sell side. Palantir's a buy. Palantir was already a buy of 1 million. It came out exactly as suspected. Don't have I know we get overall numbers, but they're a little bit different because they're broken up. The NASDAQ is 1.38 million to sell. The SPY is 1.3 billion to sell. SPY is 1.9 billion to the sell side. So both major indexes are sell imbalances. That's the spike that you got down. Holding 179, however, is going to be Tesla. Whoa, why do I still have, okay, just canceling some stops and some other orders that we don't need to get filled on at the end of the day. I just took some out of Boeing because it wasn't moving, but we're going to hold on to Tesla for 178. If it doesn't break underneath 179, I'll get out with a tighter stop. But we're going to let this one ride here on Tesla. Down 4%, holding for that low. As said with Boeing, like, it's not moving, so I took 2 legs out here in front of VWAP instead of 1 because it's the end of the day, barely move. It's only about 20 cents, but that stock fell $1 and change right back up. We got what I think was a good level to short, but you're not seeing a heck of a lot of fall through. So I'm now not giving it to 186, gonna tighten the stop just above break even and then go from there. Tesla just came out, so we had a 179.80 short. We just got back out, back through 179. So a clean trade off the 180 level. Didn't press as far down as I would like, but it's past 350, so we're going to take the money and run on Tesla. Thanks again. Even more gifts out there from True Trading Group. Another 50. We appreciate you. We love you, all of our viewers, so get those. Hang on to your shorts. Those imbalances, though, 355, I would suspect some of those might pair off. So Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft were all sell imbalances.
I mean, look, shout out to everybody that's True Trading. I mean, you know, another 50-50, Hundi Membies there. Good job. Thank you, Mike. Thank you to everybody over there at True Trading Group. And I mean, probably sparked by, boom, Nvidia. We get that energy going through again. This is what we're talking about. This is real trading right here. This is the style that we do, and I know True Trading Group, maybe more long-term. And we had Mike on last week. Go find that clip, and that was a great one. Thanks for.
He's got Moderna as well.
Yep, yeah, you liked Moderna. Yeah, that was a great call. Yeah, good bringing that up.
I'm curious if he's, well.
Yeah, we'll talk to him. I mean, like I said, I've been on there recording, and we'll look to do that again. Let me know if you want me on. for True Trading Group. We can figure that out. All right, so right now, huge move in Nvidia, guys. Honestly, like, I mean, we just shorted 948 and got out. I mean, we got out VWAP. We actually got that early. We talked about that. Look at all, this is not just one short. This is like triple barreled up. I mean, so when this move happened, that was good. We only have a small piece left. We're going to see what pops off with that. We still are. Shout out to TTG again. We are now $1 plus. We are almost $3. Check that. We were $3 in the money on meta longs, but that's come back in on that imbalance. And then Boeing, I mean, it definitely is not going. So we just took another piece out rate, well, one piece out right here. That's for VWAP. It's not, yeah, pun definitely intended there. I mean, there's absolutely nothing going on with that story. And like I said, man, believe China stories to your grave is what I would say. Let's just see where this one goes. 185, hopefully 185, and we can punch, there, we punch a little bit out there. 47s we get, but not much happening with only 5 minutes left. The reason why I'm getting out now is because all of you are going to join myself, Miss Danielle Shea, Miss Adara. We're all going to be here for the market recap show where traders stay late. This is what we're doing tonight. It's your market recap show. We had, not Chris Bretcher, we had Brian Shannon on yesterday. Here's Miss Danielle Shea right now. She'll be on tonight, and we'll be talking all about that base, NVIDIA. Tonight should be coming through at 9:40. There's NVIDIA on a little bit of a flip through. Meta just ripped, so we're actually making more money on Meta.
They all flipped to the
yeah, then we're losing here on NVIDIA, but we just got another fill up there. Oh, now we're long on it.
So 955, oh, sorry, 355, all of those imbalances on the big tech names, they all paired off. The only thing left of any size was like a few 100,000 shares on like Intel or something. But Apple paired off, Nvidia paired off, Microsoft paired off. I just got out of Boeing. I put the stop at break even. Again, it didn't move as much, but we got the 60s in, got some out 40s and 30s, and then we got out flat. So it was a much smaller move than anticipated. Wow, Tesla, we were just short at 180. We get out at 79, it's back at 180. But I don't see myself putting anything else on. We got 4 minutes to go. Obviously, you're getting a big press to the upside. In the app, look, everybody is concerned with Nvidia earnings, rightfully so at 420, live on the market recap show with Sean and Adara. You're going to get Nvidia earnings. Snowflake is the other big name reporting after the bell. And I do believe, according to Brendan, they're going to report at 405. So Snowflake's going to come first. It is on the, it's on a monster resistance level at 165. You know, I would wager if it breaks this, I'm going to check the expected move, but decent chance you could see some double digits here. Nvidia, the expectation's 8.3. Last time I did double that, but worse, there's Snowflake. So the expected move on Snow was actually 10%, so bigger than Nvidia. And the last time it did 18%
not be today. No, it's okay.
on Snow.
No.
Those are the two biggies. There's probably a few other ones out there, but I mean, those are the only two that I'm concerned about. This morning, you actually had Pinduoduo. It was crazy on the actual earnings move, but I would say it was rather muted once the market started opening up. More of an inside day for them. So the big one is going to be Nvidia, followed by Snowflake. Don't sleep on either one of them. Speaking of Nvidia, that's what we should watch going into the close. So 3 minutes to go. Nvidia almost got back into green there with that. Like, there's a reason why we talk about the imbalances and show them. Short off this high, Sean had it. Imbalance comes out to the sell side. It dips at 350. Like 350, it's making the move down. It bounces at 351 as it's already starting to get paired off. So a lot of times when you get that in your favor, take the money, whatever you can do, and then you get that massive reversal every now and then. Apple had a bit of a sell imbalance as well. So Apple trending down in. What happens when it pairs off? 355, big pairing event on the imbalances. It flipped from a big sell to basically flat, and it jumps back up 70 cents to $1. I was in Tesla, a very similar thing happened. Makes that reversal, and then right back into the 180. With only 2 minutes to go, I don't see getting anything else in. For anyone that was trading the meme stocks in the afternoon, they were fantastic to the long side. AMC pressing still right around that $5 level on AMC. GameStop, we had an early long, but that's pulled right back in. Remember when we said we're going from GameStop to FFIE because GME had stopped? GameStop under VWAP all the way back into 21. It gave up almost all of the moves. I'm glad we got away from that name. FFIE does hold on to VWAP, but we're not going to care about that for now. We had our one trade in this stock. We went long 14 and went to 22, held on to some and got out at 12 for a couple cents worth of a hit. Too late in the day to try to take another shot with only 1 minute left to go. Mike Pena says you say you're going YOLO. So I guess, if you're going YOLO tonight, I guess you're playing options in Nvidia. I don't know where else you're going to go YOLO with less than 1 minute to go. It's going to be Snowflake first, and then, look, I got it from Brendan that Nvidia's after 420. I feel like they reported faster than that the last time, but I could be wrong. Let's go with that. Either way, you're going to get it live in the market recap show regardless, because they're going to report within that first half an hour. It's going to be a fun one, but you know what to do here. Big rally in this NASDAQ, almost going green, both Nvidia and the NQs, just by a hair. I guess it's still technically possible the NASDAQ could go green. Even Nvidia could go green in the last 20 seconds. I don't think it's going to be the case. So we're going to end up closing about 948. Expected move of 8%. Hey, $70. Let's see what happens. We're going to find out pretty soon, but let's get the camera on Adara for the bell, brought to you by Nvidia in 3, 2, and 1. Ring it. No. Thank you very much. It's brought to you by True Trading Group. The bell brought to you by True Trading Group. Nvidia earnings after the bell. Big shout out to True Trading Group. Thank you for the 100 gifted memberships on the live afternoon show. Great fun. And Mike, fantastic. I don't know if he's listening, but a fantastic trade I know that he has on in Moderna, which is an absolute burner of a trade. So thank you to True Trading Group. That bell brought to you by them. We've got Nvidia earnings. We've got Snowflake earnings. Shout out to Fabian and Ramin on the 1s and 2s. Big shout out to Brendan and Adara on the desk. And Learn to Trade, as always, with Sharif in our new segment where we go over some charts that you guys get to pick. But it's been called the Super Bowl of earnings. And I think that is warranted because as Nvidia goes, a lot of other things go. And we're about to go to the desk. It's a market recap show. Nvidia, you know it's going to be a good one. We've got Sean, we've got Adara, and we've got fireworks.
All right, what's up, Adara?
I'm great. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. Very exciting day as Nvidia closes at 950. It went back up, down, and around and was a wild one. So, yeah, we're really excited for everything today. The market, though, yeah, a little quiet. Yeah, we talked about how choppy it could have been here today. The NASDAQ just pretty flat up, 0.07. What's up, Adara? 0.07 on that one. UNG to the upside, 10. Did we ever find out what was up with solar today? 10 up 9%.
A lot of them are pretty heavily shorted, so it could have been that. But I know SunPower was part of that rally.
FLSR was
FLSR was insane.
FSLR, sorry.
I kept typing FLSR, actually.
Oh, did you? Okay.
But FSLR, yeah, that one was up a massive amount. I didn't see anything on solar.
All right, I want to thank everybody for being here with us today. We'll probably have a record number of watchers. Make sure you hit the like and the subscribe. We have more watching now than we did at the end of the show.
Oh.
I looked and we had 5,700. We now have 6,400 watching. People flocking in. I want to thank all of you for coming in. I told everybody this is the best show, and now you're rocking with us right now. Thank you to Adara for making this what it is. Game on right now for Nvidia. So let's go. We're getting ready to rock and roll. Not only that, what did we say? A pump coming at the end of the day in for Nvidia. That was right. I was fighting the short, but that was right. Nice move to the upside right there for Nvidia at the end of the day. And look what's happening right now. You don't want to be caught short with this report. Now Nvidia up to 952 and still smoking to the upside right there. We will wait for NVDA earnings. We're also very excited to get Let It Snow. Let it snow. Of course, it's let it go, but we have Snowflake coming through right now. Not out that I see. We will bring those to you as soon as we get it. It is Snowflake, a position of mine, a relatively new one. I like Snowflake. We like big data. And you know what? Look, nothing's out yet. Snow just touched 165 there, trying to go back higher. Nothing's out yet. Nvidia's going higher, 950. Welcome Danielle Shea through today. She's going to be coming in. We'll talk all about that. We're really excited about this. We had Meta at the end of the day long. That was a banger, but closes down here. What's up with that? 468, 469, and therefore that. A couple reports coming out today for sure. We have Snowflake. We have ELF, not on a shelf, but potentially in your makeup cabinet.
Yeah, maybe.
So we'll see what happens there.
Or in your portfolio.
Do you own an ELF on the shelf?
I own, like an actual ELF?
Yeah.
No, I do not.
We own two of them.
You do have, oh, two.
Bang! Shout out to my wife that has to, maybe I shouldn't give away the secret. Shout out to Elf on the Shelf.
I like each kid has their own elf. I like that.
Yeah, each kid has their own elf. Yeah, it's all right. Right here, Elf right now. It's been a good name, but it has fallen back in on the cosmetic front. We can watch out for, let's just see what Ulta's at. Ulta Beauty, another one.
Ulta reports next week.
Wow, Ulta Beauty, what's up with that? Down to 380, let's watch out. This makes this ELF report even more important because we are just hovering around 150. ELF expected at 405, EPS of 32 cents, looking for an implied move of over 12%. If we get 12% on this, man, you're going down about $17 or so. So yeah, where is ELF going to go? Will not stay on this shelf for very long. We'll talk to Danielle Shea about Disney, Alibaba, Nvidia, some of the other plays that we've talked to her about in the past. So right now, these are what's moving on. We had PDD on earnings. Wild day for PDD, man. Starts today at 156 all the way down to 147. But before we get some earnings through, let's just take a quick look at the heat map if we can and talk a little bit about this. Markets had a pretty calm day, but was wild at moments there as Google down 0.83, Apple down 0.75 as well. Some big drops in the afternoon. Goldman Sachs CEO David Solomon said he thinks the Fed rate won't cut rates at all in 2024. JP Morgan down, Wells Fargo down, Goldman down 1.71%. I don't think that's right. I think they cut. I think they cut twice. We'll wait to see. FOMC started to move to the downside, of course, on that hawkish talk with the minutes, right? So those came through. We'll look at the heat map in just a second. But the NASDAQ came in at 2 p.m., right, when they dropped, or maybe it wasn't 2 p.m. That's normally when Fed minutes come.
Yeah.
Was today?
I think it was 2 p.m.
Echoed. Okay, yeah, so it was 2 p.m. So about curbing that inflation. Ooh, what did Josh Brown buy? Massive pop in Moderna on Josh Brown. So there it is. I just typed in Josh. mRNA right there. Remember I was wondering what's up with that? Why is Moderna ripping? But again, a great day for Moderna. Snowflake is out.
Yeah.
So what? We called Alibaba, we called Snowflake. Snowflake, bang, we're long at 150, it's at 180. It is Snowflake, it is ripping. Let's go Snowflake. How's your brethren doing in Palantir? That's my guy as well. Palantir, okay, doing nothing. Let's go back over to Snowflake because that's where the action is. Nice move up there for Snowflake. Adara, drop it like it's hot.
I can. Quarterly revenue coming in here, $828.7 million. So that's a 33% year-over-year revenue growth. They're seeing Q2 product revenue apparently $805 million to $810 million. Q1 product revenue was actually $789.6 million. So they're seeing an increase in product revenue for Q2. So that is a nice look here. We did have adjusted, Q1 EPS here, negative 95 cents. So I'm not sure if they were expecting a loss on EPS. From what I saw, they were expecting a profit. So that could be why we had that initial drop. But that 33% year-over-year revenue growth and what they're expecting for Q2 product revenue, not bad at all here for SNOW. We'll take a look at ELF here as well.
Guys, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit all of that, man. Right now, 7,000 almost watching. We were sub 4, we were 5,800, sorry, at the close. So over 1,000 joining us right now. Thank you so much for that. We're going to have Miss Danielle Shea coming through. And again, we're all about these earnings plays today. ELF, what's up with that shelf? We just talked about that. The downside for ELF right now, down to 140. Shout out to my friends at True Trading Group. Ayo, if you're in the chat. Shout out to that 138 to the downside right now for ELF Cosmetics. I know we wear a lot of cosmetics around here.
We do.
Might not be ELF products. Give us those numbers from ELF right now, down 12%.
Well, for me, they did miss pretty significantly in Q4 sales and Q4 adjusted EPS for their fiscal Q4. So earnings per share 53 cents versus the expected 32 cents. Oh, sorry, that's actually a beat. Why can I? Okay, I'm sorry, I'm blind. So that is a beat here. They also did beat on Q4 sales, 321 million versus 292.6 million. So they beat across the board. I'm sorry, I cannot see new contact lenses, but beat for ELF here. So I'm trying to see where they're seeing this kind of move down here. Their 2025 share view is also 351, revenue view 127, but I guess they're projecting the annual sales and profit below estimates. So they beat Q4, but their estimates are a little bit weaker. Sorry for reading that initially wrong, guys.
No problem. All right, so right now, VFC, okay, this is VF Corp. Okay, so VF Corp right now, I mean, not a huge market cap, 5 billion, but again, they're gonna miss to the downside right now. VF Corp, some people asking about that in the chat. Boom, to the downside, over 11 right now. Over 7,000 now watching right now. And so let it snow on that right now, 177. Thank you so much for everybody that's watching with us right now. We're going through all of the reports and we wait for the big dog. Where will Nvidia bark today? We're waiting for this. We just did a video on Nvidia. Very important that An NVDA, yes, very good. We're looking for EPS right now at 555 for them. Revenue, 24.17 billion expected. My opinion, they got to blow that out the water. They do not need to meet that. They need to go higher. Stocks react to what we're going to do. We need to see a guide. We need to see current revenues higher than expected, plus the guide for Nvidia. Nvidia right now, I don't know if it's a slippery slope or not, but if you looked at what happened to today, let me just go over to a quick 3-minute chart. Nvidia started the day horribly for your boy because we took that long on the breakout early. Thought Nvidia was going to be blue skies. It was oppo. You know when you hit when you're at baseball and you go oppo?
I do not.
Good. Okay. Opposite field.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. So we tried to pull the ball instead, late on the fastball, early on the fastball, went opposite field, got hit to the downside. It held 943 before it didn't. Nice move down to the downside. Now we're kind of in the middle. So it's almost like Nvidia blinks. Yesterday's close right into here, 953. Right now we're at 951. Up and down today as we wait for earnings. AMD, downside pretty much all day, never really got back going. But again, AMD up on the day, waiting. SMH, waiting patiently as well for this to come through. We're at very key levels on all of these, man. Look at the SMH at 52-week and all-time highs as we wait out to see what is up with Nvidia. That's coming out very, very soon. We're going to have Miss Danielle Shea on, and I'm going to have to apologize to her early because we are going to get those releases while we have her on, expecting 420. It's not a puff pass. I suggest if you are doing any of that, put it down. We are about to get a big report from Nvidia. Snowflake right now, a little bit of a move down, less than 10 minutes. We will have that. My prediction for Nvidia, this is going to be a difficult one to do. I think they actually will come and beat that 24 billion in revenue. I think they'll beat that. I worry a little bit about the guide, what happened yesterday, and if we just zoom out back out a little bit here, this was not yesterday. I'll have to zoom out again on this and go into yesterday's open where we saw this move come through. Let me go to a 2-minute chart, 3-minute chart here for that. Come on, Trade Ideas. Let's need to zoom the other way here. There it is. So this, nope, still not. All right, there it is right here. It's this move yesterday when we had that worry about possible Blackwell orders from Amazon being delayed. That was not true. Could you, oh no, it's right here. Good, yeah, you got it. So it's right there. But look at the consolidation, Adara. The same levels today we consolidated at the same levels as yesterday. Yeah. So I feel like if it's a relatively light miss or beat, we could fall back into 930, and that could be some buying areas. But shout out to our friend, Brian Shannon, who came through and said, no, we don't have to drop anchor VWAPs anywhere other than this last bottom. So if we drop it right there, this was the key level. Remember we went back and forth with him yesterday? Yeah. 866 is what we're looking at. If you drop an anchor on that low as well, yep, we will have that. I got you, Fabian. Don't worry about that, my guy. Right there, the same level of 850. We do not mess with the production crew around here, and we also do not mess with Danielle Shea. So let's roll. It's Trader Talk. What's up, Danielle? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
We're jacked up and we're ready to go here. This is all pure energy. We had like half of a coffee. We didn't even drink that much coffee. Have you ever had a Monster beverage or anything like that? I've never drank any of those energy drinks.
That's way too much for me. I can't be doing any of that.
Same. That's too much for me. I get high just from trading alone, so that's what we're talking about. Look, how nervous are we about Nvidia? I'm excited. I don't really have anything on other than in my long-term portfolio. Did you put anything on recently for Nvidia, as we now have 7 minutes before that comes out?
So I own Nvidia stock, and Nvidia is the #1 stock in my portfolio.
Perfect.
So,
Oh, no.
I would like for it to not get hammered.
Oh,
That
no,
would be
not
great.
again. Remember when last time we were on, we talked about Apple. I was like, I liked it long. You're like, oh, yeah. And then we went back up to the upside. So we did talk about that. But hey, we talked this on today's trading. Sometimes when you're in names, they don't go your way. That's why we have stop losses, and I'm sure that you're a proponent of making sure that if your targets are hit, either way you execute against those. Can you talk a little bit about stop losses, especially in your world?
Definitely. So when you're looking at stop losses, I mean, generally I'm going to use the daily chart, and I'm going to use the 50 simple for a tight
Right.
stop. If I'm, going to use a little bit of a looser stop, I'll go down to the 100 simple or the 200 simple on the daily chart. But it really just depends what I'm doing. If I'm swing trading, I'm going to have a looser stop. If I'm doing something like overnight earnings trades, those are going to be a little bit more aggressive. Those are going to be options trades where I actually don't have a stop. I'm just going to risk the full
Right.
amount that I'm willing to lose. So with Nvidia, I made 2 different bets on it. I'm trading it both ways. I'm going to hold my long-term stock, and we're going to see where this thing goes.
How about to the moon? Let's take that into consideration. You know what I think is a possibility here, and we've seen this happen to many big cap names. What about a split? I mean, if this thing splits, we've seen, yeah, I like that smile. There's that smile we're talking about, Adara. We like that kind of news because if a split comes through, I think that could also moon Nvidia for nothing to do with the stock, but just because it becomes a little more affordable. Traders like splits. We've seen that happen all over the place with Amazon, with Google. Chipotle announces it, and to the moon there as well. What about a dividend, right? Lots to happen here for Nvidia. We are very, very excited for that. And I have great news to announce right now. We just hit 7,200 viewers right now. They're piling in, waiting for this. What does that say on your shirt? Go hard or go home? What does that say? Trade,
It
yeah,
says trade hard or go home.
Dara likes that one. Good one. We like that. We're going to talk about more where they can find you. All right. What do we want to talk about? I mean, we just talked about Nvidia a little bit. We had a good move there for Snowflake. Let's go over Snowflake if you have a second. How about that? You want to go over some Snowflake? I like this move. This was a name that I recently bought. I actually bought it down here. We did break the 50. I'm long in and around the 50, like 152, 153, something like that on the break back to the upside. We're now taking out the 200 period moving average. Snowflake today after hours, nice move up to that 180 level. Good numbers today for Snowflake. Still not near these highs. You like anything here? Does it look okay to you, Snowflake?
So when you look at Snowflake, I didn't want to trade this one before earnings because it was just a total coin flip. I mean, the stock has only beat EPS estimates 4 out of the last 12 quarters. So that wasn't really invoking a lot of confidence. But what I'll point out with this stock is that, I mean, it makes some massive moves. The move that was being priced in here was about 9%. But more often than not, 7 out of the last 12 quarters, actually, this stock has gapped up or down by more than 10%. And the thing about it is that it usually keeps going. So with Snowflake, what I was eyeing was support and resistance zones for a potential breakout. I've got 180 to the upside, where I think that if it gets up above 180, and it continues onwards, that could be a potential breakout trade. And then the downside level that I was looking for was 145. So this chart doesn't actually have the after hours data on it. What do you have it trading at right now, Sean?
Snowflake was at 180. It's now at 175. Its high was 184. So right now we're just hovering around 175-ish.
There we go. Okay, so I got it working on this chart here. I don't know, this thing's a little slow today. It's getting a little crazy with Nvidia after the close, but
Who's over there?
if right here, right below 180, it's kind of like, we're gonna have to see tomorrow if it can stay up above 180, and we have perhaps a 15-minute range breakout. Then that's something that I could potentially get into tomorrow, but I have to see how it sets up.
All right, this is like Christmas all over again. That clock has almost struck midnight. We've got Nvidia on our mind, and I think it's a good sign that here in the aftermarket, we just were hovering around the highs. So we'll see the afternoon highs right now at 9:52. Nvidia doing a little bit of a dance. This chart's going to look a hell of a lot different in just a matter of minutes, guys, when this adjusts out. And we now have 2 minutes to go. Just a quick review of what we're expecting. Generally speaking, the EPS on the street, $5.55 a day is glued to this. Revenue of $24.17 billion with just, Danielle, just an implied move, and I know this is what you're all about as well, obviously in the options market, just 8%. Its last move was 16%, Danielle. So I don't know, are we maybe, you might have seen some sort of consolidation a little bit in the options market. For me, I think it's going to move a heck of a lot more than 8%. Was there anything that maybe gives you that impression as well?
So when you look at the options chain and you look at where the high open interest and the high volume is, there's definitely a lot of trade around the $1,000 price point. There's also a lot of trade around 1050 and then a little bit more up around 1100. And so when I'm looking at the implied move, we have an implied move of about $75 in this stock. And then, I just generally try to take that and then I try to overlap those with my upside price targets in the options market, combine it with a little bit of Fibonacci. That just gives me a couple different bullish targets that I can use. So the way that I told our traders in the trading room today, I said, hey, you know what? We've got a variety of different opinions here. We have people thinking that it's going to move a little bit less than expected. If you think it can move a little bit less than expected, I mean, that $1,000 price target, that's generally what I consider to be the easy target because it's within the expected move. So you can trade it in a bullish way without being super aggressive about it. Now, if you're like you and you say, hey, you know what, I think this is going to crush it. Well, that's where you would want to use the 1050 price target because that would be a greater than expected move.
Okay, here we go. They actually got $6.12. That seems better, but look out. Oh man, we're down to 920 right now. Nvidia starting to get clocked a little bit, but Danielle, do not count Jensen out. Jensen Wong putting up numbers up to 950, 960, 970. Yeah, we're not stopping 965, 964, 970. Nvidia, boom. Nvidia dropping a dividend right now. There's some news coming out with Nvidia beating 612 versus 559. It's a big beat. It's a 150% beat. We're starting to go up to the upside. It's Nvidia. It's 980. It's 983 right now. What is the high on Nvidia? Ciao, Bella. We are way up now. It's Nvidia. Hey, it might not be lobster for dinner, but it's something. It sure ain't chicken. There it goes. Watch out as we go. Adair, are you okay over there?
This is crazy to watch.
This is what we do. This is why this is the best damn show on YouTube. You've now found us. We're here. Look at Nvidia, 992. Do we have one? Where's my 1,000 hat? We need an Nvidia 1,000.
Oh
there we go, Danielle. It's a nice move to the upside. It's a stock split. We get 10 for 1 on the stock split.
Yes.
Nvidia just announces a split. That's the news that we're looking for right now. Q2 revenues, $28 billion. That's what they're seeing. $28 billion on Q2 revenue, 28 over 26. Okay, well, forget about Snowflake now, Danielle. Nvidia, nice upside move. I hope this is enough for you to print on that. Danielle, first thoughts about this Nvidia move?
I love it. I mean, I really wanted the $1,000 price target. I've been trying to look for that value for so long, and I just felt like, with the expected move, it was in play, but the number one thing that I wanted more than anything with Nvidia is a stock split. So I just feel like Christmas has come a little bit early.
Yeah, that was good. That was a nice little. And remember, we said we're all sitting here, we're getting ready for Christmas. This feels like Christmas. Well, we got it, but you know what can happen at Christmas time? Coal. You can get coal. So we'll. There it is. They are doing the 10 for 1. So they're doing this.
Starting on June 10th.
Starting on June 10th. So, okay, I think this can moon, Danielle. I honestly think if we can hold over $1,000 tomorrow, I hate using that terminology moon, but again, it's not even really up that much. If you have an 8% move on $950, you're actually expecting like a $60 or $70 move. So we didn't. Did we get it? I mean, we closed at 950. We're up here to 990. It's a great move. You know what I actually do here, Danielle? It's still going, by the way, 990. You guys want to see what a live level 2 looks like? Danielle, you tell me another show that's going to show a live level 2, and I will quit. Right now, 995. There goes Nvidia straight up to the upside. Other shows, this is actually what's happening. There goes Nvidia 990 on nice volume, nice little upside move, over 44 million shares on the day. Nvidia looking wild. But what I was getting at there before we always get off on these tangents, Danielle, is more just about like maybe now the NASDAQ. I always get nervous when we keep hitting these highs. You know, NASDAQ high, S&P high, Diamonds high, which is the Dow Jones. Sometimes we get pullbacks, and now it's put up or shut up, and it looks like Nvidia sort of maybe just gave a bottom to some of these stocks, because if they're going to report and put out this, then split, then give a 150% increase on their dividend, I mean, what's next? This probably helps out AMD, the whole sector. We know we love AI. Your Microsoft are going to be a big beneficiary of this as well. Wow, what a sigh of relief.
It's a huge sigh of relief. And I mean, I think what it means is that tomorrow we can just keep buying. I mean, I agree with you. Once you get up to those highs, it gets a little bit frothy. But here's the thing. I mean, I have a 19,000 price target in the NASDAQ futures. So, I mean, we still have a little bit more room to the upside. I think you could actually make it up into about 19,500. And what we needed Nvidia to continue going higher after this report, and that's exactly what we've got.
Right.
I think tomorrow, I'm going to come in, I'm going to look at Amazon. I wanted to buy Amazon off of the 50 simple. Microsoft was breaking out. Microsoft looks good into about 440, 450. And now we're going to have a split trade. And I think I heard you say that the split was going to be June 10th? So what, we have like 2, 3 weeks?
Yeah, June 10th. So as of June 10th, active Nvidia symbol, 10 for 1. Who knows where the stock's going to be at that time?
Well, so I'll tell you that those are the best split trades generally when they're announced and it's happening in a relatively short time frame. Chipotle, it was a good one. We talked about that one on the show, but they announced it so far ahead of time that it was kind of like, all right, we're waiting.
Right.
Walmart was another one that even Walmart had a good split.
Took forever.
Trade. But when you have Nvidia just reporting earnings and then the split is coming so soon after, I think that means that we're going to see really positive momentum over the course of the next 2 to 3 weeks as traders and investors continue to trade this stock that just doesn't seem to have a stopping point.
Man, we did it. AMD also popping up here in the after hours. And by the way, you'll be happy to know about this one. We have brand new all-time highs in the NASDAQ after hours as it just continues to pump upside a little bit. Oh, you know an interesting name? Look at Nvidia falling down just a little bit now, 890, 988. I better not say 800. AMD, a nice move to the upside. That's holding as well right now. Let's check out one that, I don't know if you have any opinions on SMCI, but you want to talk about a heart attack. I mean, at least Nvidia moves $100 or $50 at a time. SMCI, Danielle, I mean, this name, what a roller coaster. Seems to be calmed down a little bit here. Is this, would you ever look at something like that just moves so aggressively? Or is this something where it's an Nvidia story? Let's just stick with the king of the castle and everybody else is just simply a dirty rascal.
I mean, here's the thing, Sean. When I first started trading, I would trade stocks that just didn't really move very much. I'd trade like Walmart, and I'd trade Visa, and I'd trade MasterCard, and I just try to follow the trend. And there's, nothing wrong with that at all. So for anybody who's starting out and they're looking at SMCI thinking, oh my gosh, I can't do this. That is completely and totally fine. That's what I did for a long time. And that's why I'm still here, right?
Right.
But at this point in my career, I'll trade SMCI. So
yeah, baby.
You look at it, and here's the thing with this stock. You're right below that 50 simple. I love trading 50 simple breakouts because that's a critical resistance zone. It also has a squeeze, so you have that consolidation setting up. And now that you have that overnight news from Nvidia, most likely tomorrow you're going to see a breakout in the stock. And I mean, you can trade it back up, probably up into 1,000. But I mean, I like it. I like the setup. I'd do it.
Danielle, you're my favorite on here. And with over 7,000 watching right now, we have pretty good volume of people. Where can they find out more about Danielle Shea? We have at Trader Danielle, obviously on X. Will give you everywhere you need to go. But I know you're always working on videos. Obviously, we're going to have to get some of that merch at some point. But why don't we, if you have a second, let's talk about your YouTube channel because it has great information on there. I know a lot of traders are checking it out.
Yeah, definitely. So here's my YouTube channel. Check it out. It's called Trader Danielle. I've been making a bunch of different videos just about the different trades that I do. I do a lot of options trades, butterflies, Nvidia. My Nvidia trade, I had a $1,000 butterfly on in the market. So I'm probably going to be making a video about that tomorrow, and I'll show you guys how it worked out, how I end up getting out of the trade. I had a hedge on it too, which isn't going to work, but that's fine. It was just a hedge. But I do a lot of 0 DTE, SPX trades and earnings trades. So you can learn more about it on my channel.
Great, Ms. Danielle Shea, thank you so much for joining both Adara and I, although I know I sort of didn't give Adara. You want to talk to Danielle for a quick second?
Yeah, I mean, sure, why not? Is there anything else that thank you so much for being here, especially for these crazy Nvidia earnings. I know you're here for Apple as well. Are there any other stocks that you're looking at going into? I know we have a couple more earnings heading next week, or just in general as we head into the month of June, like second half of the year, which is crazy.
Yeah, sure. Well, you know what I think we should look at is I think we should look at Broadcom, because Broadcom has earnings coming up in the next 2 weeks. And now that we've seen Nvidia report and it's gone well, typically that's going to add a little bit more bullish momentum in that space. And so I think traders should be looking at Broadcom to see if there's anything that we can do with that.
All right, thank you. So yeah, I mean, good call. I didn't even remember that Broadcom reported in just a couple of weeks. Wow, it's funny that it's June 12th, it's a couple of days around that Nvidia split, so that should be super exciting. Ms. Danielle Shea, thank you so much. A lot of people missing the fish tank, so we got to get that back in the shot as well. Thank you so much, Danielle. We will catch you all the time at Trader TV Live, and hopefully next week as well. So Danielle, good luck with everything on that Nvidia trade. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Ciao. That's Trader Talk. I was just saying to Adara, like, we came in today and we just had a bunch of energy, and then all of a sudden it's just like, wow, that energy just explodes there on those Nvidia earnings. I want to give a big shout out to Danielle for coming through right now on that one. But Nvidia's pulling back just a little bit, and I didn't want to sort of ruin the party there, but it is pulling back in just a little bit, and I mean, maybe it's a lot. I have to think that this is pretty disappointing because right now Nvidia's look, we're super happy. I think we got everything we wanted. We got a higher guide. We got a beat. We got we got the split that we weren't sure about. We got the dividend increase. Like, if you could have an Nvidia sandwich, pretty much you're full right now. I mean, that was a good one. And I'm just surprised that we hit that 1,000. We got to 998 and the halt sign came. It didn't halt, but the stop sign came out. It can't halt in the after hours. Came out right there and straight down $30 or $20 from that level or so. And now we'll wait to see if we can hold 970. I think this buy the dip opportunity right now, maybe. I don't see negative news. You are going to get some bears that come in and sell these prints. There are going to be traders, of course, that are taking profit when they see this kind of stuff. I like the Nvidia story, and I do think it continues. But hey, I can't just keep saying what a great show we have without acknowledging the great people that we have as well. So I want to thank you, Adara. I want to thank Fabian over there on the ones and twos. We got to give a big shout out also to Ramin, Brendo, Neil, everybody, Sharif, that makes this happen. And a big shout out to Trader Danielle. And of course, we can't do anything without giving a big shout out to Bears versus Bulls. One of the best. Did you check that? He is the best moderator right now on YouTube. So a big shout out to you, my friend. And then we can't do it all without a roll call either. So I got to give a big shout out to True Trading Group. I mean, these guys dropped over 100 memberships into the chat today as well. So get there. Yeah, there we go. Okay, we'll go right here. There it is right now. So we'll give everybody a chance to do this. It's roll call. We're going to shout everybody out. I want to thank all 6,000, 7,000 of you that joined us today. It was a big day for sure. So let's do roll call. Anybody that made some money on Nvidia, whether you're long or you're short, stand up right now. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Let's go. It's roll call time. What's up to Andrew Chow? What's up to Andrew James Dell, Scott Tomlinson's here, Judge is here, CompuCare is here, Lethargic. All right, we got a little more energy
that
than
this
that.
morning, yeah.
Right now, wow, now we're really starting to go. Dominic, Chef Joe, what's up, Chef and Joe? We're gonna have steaks, baby. Right there. What's up to Dan? What's up to Atef? Blue, I gotta stop this. It's going too fast. Savage mode activated. What's up, Joseph? Yeah, man, we're savage every day, all day, all day. Print Money says Snake Sloan. What's up, Snake Sloan? Jazzy J, shout out to Jazzy Jeff. Hell yeah, he says for Nvidia. Darwin's here. Ness is here. Shelton is here. Plumwood is here. It's going nuts. Trade Forever's here. Everybody is here. But the one thing that I can't be is here anymore.
Yes. We did quickly have a super chat from Mark K during
Go.
the earnings hit. So $2 super chat. It's lobster with wine tonight, Sean. So just wanted to shout out Mark K. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you everybody for being here.
What do you know? Wine pairing for lobster? Any suggestions?
Whenever I say it, I think it's gonna be wrong, but maybe a white wine. But
Not
when
wrong.
I go to Red Lobster, I get like a margarita. So what would your pairing with lobster?
So I was gonna say, I think so first of all, you nailed it. I think with seafood, you always want to go white, so bang on for that. I would think that I like dry Chardonnay, but for me, I think a little Riesling, something a little, maybe with a little bit of a bite on it, maybe a little sweet there for the lobster. But you know what I think is more appropriate for a day like today? Let's pop some damn bottles and get some champagne going. That's what I'm talking about. Marissa, get it on ice. I'm coming home. I don't think we have any booze. I'll probably have to stop. It's a Moe kind of day. Let's pop it off. It's Nvidia. It's Adara. It's the best show on YouTube, and you just found it. It's your market recap show. I'm Sean Katina at Trader TV. Sean, go find it at Trader TV Adara. Ciao. Good luck.